Rangers. Hockey is unpredictable, and the fact is all these guys are pros. They all
That's a book of little fool. There's a sports house for that.
All right, gamers, welcome to Italian Pizza Simulator, a new game that just came out. Looks like a pretty dope game. What do you know about pizza? All you eat is tasteless green food. That ain't true, bro. I love pork chops, smoked sea salt caramels.
Right.
But yeah, forgive me for liking healthier choices, but Italian-made pizza is probably way healthier than your average Pizza Hut or Little Caesars type of stuff. And I love gnawing on some cheesy pizza. Well, I'm going to name this place the Huge Slice. Is that because the slices are huge, or the guy that owns the place is huge? Oh, shut up, I'm going to tear the heck out of some lore just dropped. I can still remember the day she taught me her most precious and famous pizza knowledge. Well, that's the problem right there. Joe wouldn't remember the day anything happened. Shut your trap before I trap the shut. Why is everything black? It's just a transition. Oh, this place is so pretty. I wonder if Grandma will let me help her cook today. I'm starting to get hungry. Oh, no, I'm Donald. Just hungry all the dang time. It's my American duty to be hungry. You said duty. Oh, for fuck's sake, sweetie Joe. I think it's poor Italian. Oh, wow. This kitchen looks, it looks pretty, Italian. Dear God, did you forget to take your stomach pills? Yeah, because, I forgot to take the memory pills. Have you been running around the tomatoes again? You're all dirty. Too bad, Ian. No, Graham, I'm too tired to be running. Yeah, you can barely walk. You're too old to walk. Ooh, this is a pretty rustic-looking basement. I give it a 9 out of 10 on the basement scale since I love basements. Of course you do basement, Biden. You run for office in a basement, you cook pizzas in a basement, and I think you were born in a basement, the dirty cunt, which would explain a lot. Fuck you. Okay, what do I do here? Put the tomato sauce and then do the recipe. It's right there, get some glasses. Okay, I pinned it. I like pinning things. So does Michelle. I'm going to fucking slap you with a pizza dough. Damn! Someone's testy today. Must have learned it from Michelle. Oh, you asshole. Well, the basement isn't that scary. No kidding. Sometimes I sleep in there. I gotta go fetch the ingredients. I'm gonna make the best Biden sauce. Biden sauce is absolutely disgusting. This Italian food is so filthy. Now that is something we can agree on. No, give me a chance. I don't need a fat chance either. I barely started here. Okay, I need oregano, salt, olive oil. Time to oil up. Tomatoes. That's a bag of tomato. Where's the? Oh, it's up there. But what do I do with the tomatoes is the question. Are you serious? These Italian pizzas are cooked, but they're not cooked yet. Oh dear Lord. Pick fresh ingredients straight from the bush. Wait, George has the ingredients? Oh, I definitely wouldn't trust his cowboy-ass ingredients. Would have farm guns all over them. Potted basil. Wow, only time Joe has a green plant in his house that isn't others. I ought to cook these tomatoes. Calling your own ingredients crap just makes you want the pizza even more. Damn it, I dropped one of the garlic cloves. Try dropping your balls too. All right, throw the tomatoes in there. Then the basil. Then the other shit. These are top-tier ingredients, Joe. They're only shit when they're handled by a shitty person that shits a lot. I have never shat in my life. Is this how you shoot talk at the dinner table? Well, Donald, there's no one at the dinner table because he ate everything. Oh, shut up. Learn to get some new jokes, will ya? I'm already trying to learn how to make a pizza. Let me learn one thing at a damn time. Oh, fuck, that's a lot of reading. Okay, I just need to put the other stupid ingredients in there, then cook it up. You're really putting love into that pizza, aren't you? Shit. What the hell are you doing? I didn't mean to. Well, just stuff the whole olive oil can in the sauce. This is what happens if you leave to decay over the course of centuries. Shut up, Tubby. Now here comes the hard part. Actually cooking this stuff. This kitchen dead ass stuff and you burn the fuck down. Beetle. Yeah, thanks for keeping the faith, guys. I have faith your future customers are a little too great. Transformation process, y'all better support me here. When they reach the recipe's required temperature in the pot, the progress is full and receive the results. My God, you just stuck the feet. Look, I haven't had my napping for a few hours. Lay off. Well, wake the fuck up. We got it cooked. Well, it's on the stove. Wish me luck. I don't think there's enough 4-leaf clovers in Ireland for that sauce. Come on, man, go faster. I don't got all night.
It's not nighttime. It's 3 in the afternoon.
Tomato. Don't quit looking around. You gotta keep check on the sauce. I've already seen it. Oh, finally, I think it's starting to heat up now.
Joe?
Not now. I'm laser focused on staring at the sauce. Maybe I should sniff it first. Sleepy Joe, I think you need to quit yapping. I'm busy. Oh, it's almost done. What? It's burned. What the fuck? I burned it. How did it burn? I knew it. I knew you were going to screw it up.
This is Lumarchi. Thanks a lot. This is my fucking pizza place, and this is what I get for letting you play.
Yeah, I knew something was off when the fire icon appeared.
Well, crap, what do I do with this pot now? I can't dump it anywhere. Is there any more pot?
No, I think you're done, sir.
Yeah, but what do I just piss myself here? Like, now what?
I think you gotta reset it.
Oh, flippity flappity fucking dirt back on blink! So that's what happens when you mix Red Bull with dementia pills. Okay, well, throwing it didn't work. Let's try this again. This time I'm naming the place. I think I'll call it the Middle Class Trust. Not to be confused with my Middle Ass Trust.
Oh, you fucking nasty ass.
I'm definitely not in the mood for Italian pizza now, so I can still go for a waffle.
Good to know, fatty pig.
You bet I'm caked up.
Tonight's dinner was tasted, tweaked, and crafted to perfection. Just enough onion. We can spend less time getting dinner on the table. You have to move time with the flame down.
This is big. Apparently things on sale. I'm just forcing you to mention.
Oh, your essentials. All the beauty you want to try. All on sale.
What? All right, round two. Second time's the charm. Are you going to make the sauce less black this time? Hopefully. I'll take it off the stove sooner. Maybe that'll work.
Oh, good, you didn't throw the olive oil bottle in this time. That's a start.
Good thing the game automatically stops you from dumping the ingredients when you've poured all that you need. Otherwise, you know Joe's pizza sauce would be mad greasy and salty. You're the one salty around here, especially after that one Supreme Court ruling. I bet you're salty as hell. Fuck you!
Okay, let's keep it about the pizza, shall we?
Forgot what recipe you were making. Hey, how did this game hack into my brain? I don't think you can hack into something so microscopic. Eat my short shorts? All right, take it off! Take it off! Did I do it? Damn it, I freaking, I can't, this game sucks! Put it in Debbie, Peter, Gibbly, Peter, Yo, calm down, it's just a game! Get out of it!
Yeah, you should have seen him when he was playing Call of Duty. Duty.
Okay, it's time for you to take a crack at it. Dumb idea on my end to let Joe play. Time to make Italian pizza great again.
I had Italian pizza once. It was pretty good. I got one in Italy.
I don't fucking know. Go there and find out. As long as they have a McDonald's in Cleveland.
All right, look it up. There is, in fact, no Little Caesars in it. Good on them, though. That would be a crime on itself.
For Little Caesars, the showbiz, especially the cheese bread.
Why all this glaze on Little Caesars? I mean, it's not that bad, but compared to real Italian pizza?
Barack, you probably just eat the salad and call it a day. Sit this one out.
So excuse me if my life isn't all about food.
Me and my boy Robbie are making food healthy again. You never even tried, so that's pretty hypocritical.
And you put the hippo. Hypocritical.
And I put sticks of butter between buns.
Oh, Joe, no wonder you kept burning the hell out of the sauce. You didn't fucking read the rest of the instructions that you need to stir the pot with a spoon to prevent it from burning.
Will the spoon prevent the burning after Taco Bell?
You want tomatoes up your ass?
I'm not into those kinds of tomatoes.
This is like Steven's the butthead simulator.
Look at this. I'm stirring the pot. Setting the stage to make the pizza Italian again. Still cemented. See, this is how you make tomato sauce. See, look. Boom. That's how we do it. See, even Grandma says it's delicious, and your dumb ass was giving poor old Granny burnt-ass tomato sauce.
Yeah, Joe, to be honest, that wasn't nice of you.
Well, it wasn't my fault. Whose fault was it? Corn pop. The one time I popped his corn.
That sounded so wrong.
So did his campaign. Both times. All right. Now I'm making the dough. It's taking way too long to make this pizza. Gotta make it fast.
Fast doesn't always mean better.
Well, I don't probably agree. Joe, I'm gonna feed you that burnt tomato sauce if you don't shut up. Ooh, sounds yummy as hell. I'm ignoring that. I need water, yeast, flour, all the great ingredients to pizza dough. The water's moist.
Well, what else would it be?
Dry as hell, like your personality. Yeah, I like dry water too, especially on my non-pizza with left bean. Well, sorry to see you go, Johnny. Who the hell is Johnny? The guy that probably just unsubscribed after hearing that.
I love that sound.
No.
What do you mean, no?
No. Mamma mia, that's some well-mixed pizza dough. Damn right, I've never seen so much gluten before. Indeed, God tier gluten. Can't get enough gluten.
Yeah, no kidding, gluten, kids.
Well, it's time to roll the bread, rolling it around town. You better be wearing a hairnet that wispy toupee hair could shed. My luscious golden block takes its place. All of your sellouts like you fell out of the primary. Listen, sweet cheeks, that wasn't even my fault. All berries.
No, that was all on you.
Malarkey. Well, I'm already studying the sauce. I'm speed running this pizza.
Again, I think you should take your time.
Yeah, not even Domino's speed runs my pizza. It takes like hours to get to my house. Are you counting the time it takes for you to hobble over to your phone? Should I not? Time for the topping. The best part. I need wherever the button mushroom is, and some nice mozzarella. I don't think that's where the olive oil goes. No shit. I didn't have room in my hot bar. At least I didn't throw it in the pot of sauce like you did. Shut up, man. Oh, there's the button mushrooms. Does that mean you have to press them? That wasn't funny.
I don't think he was trying to be.
Okay, well now I need to slice all the toppings up, especially the mozzarella cheese. That's it? Only mozzarella? What about cheddar and pepper jack and provolone? And Joe, this...
Introducing Mr. Science for Pets, a lesson from Beast. Friendship is easy. Our fur-friendly formulas help keep the scientific on because unconditional love deserves improvement without conditions.
Pokemon Fire Red and Green are irrefutable classics, which is a big deal. Today, Fire Red is going to have 5 hours to turn my girlfriend Ellie into a Pokemon fan. What did she think? The results may surprise you. Oh man, I've been waiting a long time for this one. All of the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games are some of my favorites of all time, so I couldn't wait to have Ellie try one of them. Last October, Ellie tried Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, which is actually set in the same region as Fire Red, but it's just not the same. She's also currently hooked on Pokemon, but that's obviously a whole other experience. We booted this one up and were immediately inundated with those classic GBA sounds.
So it's pixely like this?
Oh yeah. Pokemon Fire Red. Just like any classic Pokemon game, begin by naming your character and your rival. Ellie picked her own name, appropriate given how much this character looks like her, and for some reason decided to name her rival Wilson. Okay, so we're talking about that there.
What's this whole thing top down? Oh, I know there's like how it just was. I don't have the banner face on it.
Yeah, this one's top down. Ellie's favorite perspective, but she just had to make do. Just like most Pokemon games, the adventure begins by exploring around your hometown. Pilot Town in this case. Man, I just love the way this game looks. The pixel-based graphics feel so distinctly Pokemon. Modern entries of the series have struggled with adapting this style in the era of polygons. While I was drooling over the nostalgia, Ellie got to pick her starter Pokemon.
I want Squirtle still. Okay. I want you, Squirtle. We really had a bond for Squirtle. I basically just picked Squirtle because I like Symphophobia. It's very different from Pikachu. This is the only other game I've played this format, this Pokemon series. I just felt most compelled by Squirtle over Bulbasaur or Charmander. I don't know why I like water, it just felt right.
Rival Wilson took Bulbasaur and challenged us to our first battle, which works like it always has. Since Ellie's play Let's Go Pikachu, she felt right at home and was able to take our opponent down with no problem. Fighting is perfect, something she's historically not been fond of. We'll have to see if this game can change her opinion.
The rock that's up in the top. The rock that's up in the top. Basically gone. Done. You're done. You're hard.
This was Ellie's first random encounter, something she'd not experienced before. Let's Go Pikachu doesn't have random encounters, allowing you to see Pokemon before to begin a fight. Even more important to note is that Let's Go didn't even allow you to battle wild Pokemon. You could only catch them. Here, we could battle whomever we want. That's the old school experience, baby. One thing I noticed early on is just how quickly this game moves. Modern titles, especially those from Nintendo, have a tendency to explain a lot in here, but goers, but older games just didn't do that as much. It's not that tutorials aren't present to help us, they're just communicated very expediently. I guess people just had no time to lose in 2004. It wasn't long before we bring it back to Wilson. Oh, battle, right?
Bulbasaur, I don't know.
Good question. Well, we got two Pokemon.
Oh, we got it.
Well, I don't mind. Pidgey. Oh my god.
Who cares that you're level 9?
Oh, so close. Oh my god. I'm pissed. Okay, stay on the focus.
Okay.
Okay, I'm taking all the experience for that. Nice. Whoa, straight from level 9. That's good.
Bubble doesn't work on Bulbasaur.
Oh,
Oh my god, I'm going to
it's $76 at the price. Oh, white it out.
What's that mean?
And they couldn't quite pull this fight off. A lot of her moves were missing. Bulbasaur opening Squirtle up for lots of damage. At this point, Ellie hadn't captured any other Pokemon, so the Squirtle fainted. That was it. She bought some more potions and headed right back over to fight Wilson again. Mojo time. Feel the buzz with all the latest lots of extra data games. People have had it every week.
My Bulbasaur's so good at the same level. Oh no, I can't beat Bulbasaur. It's just messed up.
Oh, you got this.
I don't think I do. Whoa.
There you go. Ellie managed to win on her second try. It wasn't too difficult of a fight, but served as a reminder of the importance of fleshing out your party. You can have up to 6 Pokemon on your person at once, which makes battles a lot more manageable. Ellie went to Viridian Forest, where she managed to capture both Omegle and Caterpie. It seems Ellie's going through a bit of an insect party. With this much tall grass, Ellie was getting a true taste of what random encounters are like.
I think I find the random encounters more stressful because I don't get to pick and choose when I do something that really impacts traversal. If I'm just trying to get from point A to B, that feels more stressful that I'm just going to run into random battles that I really don't want to engage in.
Caterpie.
Nothing to it, baby. Nothing to it.
I just feel like I should be leveling on my other filter one.
Is it enough?
I would say refine it. So like, great job going through that.
Caterpie didn't get a whole lot of experience there, but Ellie had the right idea. Newer Pokemon games are inclined to give your entire party experience after a battle, but not in these days. In Fire Red, only Pokemon that participated in a battle get XP, so if you want a Pokemon to get a cut, you have to actively switch it into battle at least once. The more Pokemon are included, though, the smaller cut each one gets. This design choice means that unless you're willing to partake in a lot of grinding, you're almost certainly going to end up relying on a single Pokemon. There's not really a problem with this, but taking the time to level up the rest of your party will serve you well in the long run. Ellie eventually made it through the forest and stumbled onto her first gym. This one features a rock-type Pokemon, which is good news, as water-type Pokemon are very effective against rock types. The first fight was a 3, so hopefully Rock, the gym leader, would be as well. Hello there.
It's rock hard willpower.
Whoa.
The one that's rock hard one. I feel like they would do a lot for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Wow. That was crazy. That was called for celebration. I like that.
Just like that in Coco Baby.
He does.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
I was wrong. Like the shoulder bag.
What will you get? Well, that was easy. And we got the boulder badge for besting the gym and moved right along. We got the running shoes as we were leaving town, which would allow Ellie to move at a quicker pace. For now, though, running wouldn't be very relevant as it was time for a big gauntlet of trainers. The game features many stretches like this. These aren't random encounters, as you can see the trainers, but they're often unskippable. You can evade some of them, but others are positioned in a way that makes it impossible not to end up in their line of sight, which is what triggers the battle. After this particular fight, Squirtle reached level 16, which triggered something truly special.
I mean, it's nice when they evolve because you're both powerful to learn one move. So I like that part, but overall I just find it disappointing. It's like watching a child grow up, trying to feed, and just wanting to be cute and small.
Ellie eventually is evolved and encountered a sphere up. Soon after this, he encountered Alpha, our first cave environment. I hope you're a fan of Zubats, because you'll be seeing a lot of them. What? I'm gonna find yourself up there.
Damn, that's really cute.
Hey, dang, I want that.
Ellie explored the cave until she eventually ran into a member of Team Rocket. The bad guys always seem to like caves. At that time, you go to go. Check it out.
The reviews on the purchase you want to make. Perhaps the plus step like that. Defeated, dividend, visa, infinite card.
I speak to... How are you? Caves can be an unwelcome sight for old-school Pokemon fans. When you're above ground, you can only stumble onto a random encounter in tall grass. In caves, there are no safe spaces. You can find a random encounter anywhere, meaning you're never going to take more than a few steps without another battle at hand.
It got really repetitive for me. to a point where I was just burnt out. Every 5 seconds was another battle, another one. And I had no control over when that was going to happen to me. If I stopped playing all this shit, if it just had the wrong lane and run into a battle. The nature of this game right now with the random attacks is so repetitive. Like this thing over and over and over again. I think when you're in an environment like you kind of get out of it. It didn't feel like I'm getting from point A to B. It kind of felt like I was going in circles. But overall, I think that these things made me level up much more than I would have if I was getting confused if I fought with it or not.
Ellie had gotten herself into a bad situation. At this point, she was so deep into the cave that she didn't know how to get out. Ordinarily, this wouldn't be a big deal, but one turtle had become poisoned, constantly losing health until it advanced. Ellie could heal it, but she didn't have an antidote, so her only choice was to burn her potions, trying to keep War Turtle conscious until she could get out of the cave. Despite her best efforts, War Turtle fainted, leaving her to push along with the remaining under-leveled Pokemon.
It's just a little it's ridiculous how many I'm running into. It's actually, it feels like that SNL sketch where it's just, what to say.
Wow, what a
It just keeps happening over and over and over and over.
Whoa. By the time Ellie ran into another Team Rocket member, she was down to her last Pokemon.
And still you're going to get them both out. It's still you're for that.
I hope there's a very dangerous connection. Yeah, that wasn't ever going to go very well. This scenario highlights the importance of A, keeping some antidotes on hand, and B, taking some time to level up all the Pokemon in your party. Once War Turtle was gone, Ellie found herself in a nearly impossible situation. This time around, Ellie came prepared with more items and a healthy party. Back at Mount Moon, she took the time to grind a bit and level up some other Pokemon, exactly what she should be doing.
Okay. I want a berry.
Here's your chance. Critical hit. There's a chance. Victory enabled Ellie to pick one of 2 fossils. She opted for the Helix. We're out of the cave! We're out of the cave!
Oh my gosh, I thought it would never end.
Safely nestled in Cerulean City, Ellie re-encountered rival Wilson. In Let's Go, Ellie struggled with this fight, but how would she do here?
Pidgeotto? Oh, that was good.
Oh, Pidgeotto flinched.
Okay, good. I can think I'm going on.
Bringing out his best Pokemon second in good thing. Alright, Bulbasaur is out of there. Whoa.
Step on that,
Oh, okay.
Good job. And that when I took this next game, I did not believe
Yep.
right away. The time I did, this was better team saying I'm pro.
Feeling she did the fight was confident after this encounter, Ellie decided to head to the town gym, which in this case features water Pokemon. This is tricky as Pokemon of the same type won't be very effective against each other. It would be incumbent on Ellie to figure out how to best utilize War Turtle to get through this fight.
What happens with her?
Oh, right.
Sorry? I think it's going to be yeah.
I'm very quickly.
Okay.
But you learn to fight.
Story. Another weird one.
So close. Whoa. Super potion. Oh my god.
That was crazy.
Oh, a critical hit. Oh my god, just like that, we have ourselves a battle. Oh, there we go. Whoa, 930.
Oh, that's crazy. He's a baby kid level 25.
Thankfully, Fight is a dark type move, which brought down this Pokemon without issue. After this, Ellie headed north, which brought her to a gauntlet of trainer battles. At this point, more Philip with both the levels had counted pretty much all of these fights were embraced. He eventually arrived in a lab with Phil, who had accidentally turned himself into a Pokemon. And let's go, Ellie seemed to develop a crush on Phil, making me feel deeply self-conscious, but I'm a little less worried about it.
It looks great when it's full. The Valuda H2O and its two separate tanks. Frisky water, white spring, and the processing from separate tanks. The H2 process them from Valuda.
Jimmy Equinox is more than years from you. It's cool that you surprised me. Limitless potential was expected. Phil was like starting when she started at the beginning of the void and she found almost significant frontier that he could explore. In the original film, the crew of a commercial starship is known as the Destroyer are abruptly awakened to their stasis after detecting an unknown transmission from a nearby moon. Upon landing, 3 crew members venture out on foot to locate the source of the signal, and they quickly realize that what they found was not a distress signal. No, it was a warning. Dallas, Kane, and Lambert have found themselves stepping into a derelict spacecraft, and it's here that everything goes wrong. While searching through the ship, they come across a chamber of physical tanks, each containing an unidentified life, sitting still, completely undisturbed. That is, until releasing a creature that latches into space. In order to get the help they need, they must break quarantine. And after some time, the creature known as the Face Hunter shreds up and dies, leaving Kane to be fine, or so they think. While eating dinner in preparation to go back to the fighter suit, Kane begins to convulse violently at the table, causing the crew to panic and death. But there is nothing to do, because the creature has already decided its purpose. An alien bursts out of his chest cavity and scurries out of the window, and over time begins to grow into something choosing the rest. From this point on, the Nostromo was transformed into a death the perfect hunting ground for the predator. Its hallways and sprawling ventilation shafts offer no safety to the horrors of the xenomorph. In fact, it's practically a playground. It hunts down the crew members one by one, and is nearly stopped. There's no guarantee of survival. Now, every single character in the film feels suspended, and it's this uncertainty that makes the film feel tense. And it's not until everyone else in the ship dies that Alan Ripley emerges as the protagonist, not as the hero, but as the survivor. Alone, petrified by fear, he manages to blow up the Nostromo and eject the xenomorphs out into space. And before going back to the cryosuit, she records one final message, the final goodbye to the Nostromo. Love, Connor, Frank, Ash, Captain Brown, and Dan. Connor is destroyed. This is Ripley. Last survivor of the Nostromo. silent. The message that Raymond records at the end of the film is the driving force behind the story of Alien Isolation. Like I said before, Isolation takes place 15 years after the events begin, and it follows River, Ellen's daughter, as she desperately seeks closure for her mother's disappearance. Amanda is now working for the Waves and Time Corporation, and as soon as the game begins, she is approached by a suspected Samuels, who informs her that a ship known as the Innocent North managed to find and recover the flight logs from the struggle. These logs are currently being held on Sebastopol State, a supplier of orbital gas 1838. Since these logs are of great interest to the company, Waverly is sending a small team to retrieve them, and it just so happens that Amanda has been invited to accompany them to the station. After receiving the case files, Samuels wanted to use this mission as an opportunity to get Amanda closure. After all these years, she's still looking for her mother, and this is her one chance to find out the truth.
If you want to come along, maybe this village.
When Amanda wakes up from fire sleep, she finds herself aboard the portals, and then the class Star Trek is being used to transport them to the station. Walking through the hallways for the first time, Ruby feels like you're moving the alien stuff. The Taurans and Sebastopol feel like they belong within the universe. The lighting is warm and sterile. There's a static hum within the constant beating of computers. From the get-go, we are immersed in this environment. One thing I absolutely love about the Alien franchise is its aesthetic. The retrofuturism within its design makes for such a compelling and interesting environment. It uses dated technology, which makes space travel feel much more grounded and gritty. The technology used is both advanced and still it's distinguishing in this area. The ship is decorated with gold keyboards, boxy terminals, fuzzy scale T-screens, and recording cases. It feels lived in. It's not fancy and shiny. No. And that's honestly seven. When Amanda makes it to the bridge, she and the crew discover that Sebastopol Stadium has suffered some damage to the drive out there. And when they try to make contact, they're met with jungle.
This is Council Vessel Colorado State Plan Registration of MNC 7760 calling Sebastopol Traffic Control. The military passengers on awareness on bond. You're holding an strong flight recorder unit. We request immediate permission to transfer the passengers port side over.
The only way to enter the station was to go to the station. Amanda, the engineer, Sam, was the best, and Taylor, the boy, all suit up to prepare the boys. But they didn't get far, because as soon as they came to the trip, an explosion was cutting the head and splitting up further into the station. Amanda has no other choice but to seal herself with the airlock. She is naturally completely sorry, unable to contact the rest of the team. From the moment she sets foot in Sebastopol Station, there is immediately something. The place has been deserted. It feels as though we are walking through a great fire, rage, death, alerts around every bend, and the ones who did survive have completely lost their way. Groups of terrified and paranoid boomers fill the halls and are invited to any outside of the city. The station is in complete disarray, a hollow shell of what it once was. And getting back to the torrents is not an option. Amanda's only way out is to human. And just like her mother, she must survive. Motivated by finding out the truth, Amanda slowly makes her way to the station, and it's not long before she encounters a survivor, a man named Axel. Come on! Where you come from? Ripley. Axel tells Ripley that there is a killer who's at the station, stalking and slaughtering anyone who moves. Ripley has no chance to process what he said, and it seems like she just writes it off as paranoia. So in exchange for Axel's help, Ripley offers him a place for him. But getting off this station is a pipe dream, because that killer, Axel, was so scared, finally reveals himself.
Saved my life. Best parts of fire. It's not. I guess.
Ripley watches as Axel violently back to his back, leaving behind his dark, dripping blood. This is the first moment in terror. The opening 2 hours of Alien Isolation is a masterclass in horror atmosphere. It feels like there's one bullet instead of a revolver. We know it's coming, we just don't know when. We hear the xenomorphs in the vents. The music is growing louder. Ripley's heart is beating faster, faster, but then it all silent. The amount of dread within this movie is insane. Isolation is drenched in nutritional anticipation, and it makes for such a draining experience. Before Axel's death, he served as an initial guide to surviving the horrors of the station. The gameplay within Isolation starts and ends with spell and nothing else. Throughout the game, you are given tools and weapons, but nothing is as effective as going to Sally is both your ally and your enemy. It can save you, but it can also kill you. Completely stricken with fear, Amanda continues to move quietly to the station, avoiding any human trust. She eventually gets her hands on the revolver, which is completely dog shit, and then is shown the slightest, which is completely empty. What are the odds? Amanda is plagued by inconvenience after inconvenience, because soon after finding the flight log, the security lockdown initiates, which blares an alarm throughout the entire area. The vents are removed, but it's here where we find the security access key, which is one of the most useful devices throughout the entire game. It allows us to have terminals, doors, and anything else that needs to be utilized in the path. When she finally manages to shut down the security alarms, the one thing she's been training not to see shows its face. The xenomorph is genuinely scary as shit in this game. And for now, it remains relatively strict. The only way to really get caught by it is if you're banging pots and pans and shit. You gotta be super fucking loud, or not pay attention and run like in the back, which I did multiple times. After narrowly escaping the xenomorphs, the creature directs its attention towards the humans who once hunted us, savagely murdered them. After this close encounter, Amanda's main objective is to reestablish columns for Samuel Taylor. And to do that, she has to make her way to the communications house, which has now been completely taken over by the working Joes, who are seats and synthetics working with Sebastian. The working Joes are incredibly simple in design. They lack the realism of the working economy. Instead, they have these blank of rubberized faces that are extremely easy to understand. Their glowing beady eyes are suspicious souls, lacking any sort of emotion. They were created to be more trustworthy than the human-like synthetics, or that's at least how they were advertised. At first, they simply just roam around the area, but it's not long until Ripley bears witness to their true intentions. The working Joes are there to ensure that Sebastopol stays in the dark. No communications are allowed in or out, and in order for Ripley to contact Samuel, she has to once again move around silently and slowly to avoid detection. Before the working Joe bashed the guy's head in, Ripley found a modified motion tracker, and this tool is her best friend throughout the entire game. It tells her how far an enemy is from where she's standing, and it beats one of its motions detected within a certain radius. Although this tool is incredibly useful, it needs to be used in moderation, because the longer Ripley holds it out, the more notice it makes, which can call enemies directly to it. Later in the game, there are 2 weapons that can be used to stun or take down synthetics. The stun baton electrocutes them, causing them to short circuit and gargle with white liquid tossed. Or you could opt for the shotgun, which takes about 1 to 2 shots to the dome to put them down. There's also the bolt gun, which is just a monster. The only good one is a dead one. Ripley manages to hack the central terminal and talk to Samuels, and it's here that he warns him about the deadly synthetics and the creatures over the station.
Okay. Samuels, listen to me. It's not safe here. Secrets have this place long time. They're goddamn androids killing people.
That's impossible. It can't take a primary synthetic program.
I've seen it. I just think some different idea about synthetics. And there's something else here. A creature is free from sleepover. It's a life form. I don't know the type. You're basically an organism. It's extremely dangerous. You and Taylor
Taylor is hurt. He was hit by everything in the context.
How bad?
I can't move her. I need medical supplies. We need to bring them back.
And it burns?
The radio is broken. I can't get contact already. We're on hold.
Shit. Okay. I'll come to you. Keep your eyes open.
After the call ends, Ripley takes a transit to medical and meets up with both Samuels and Taylor. Taylor is unable to move because of her injury, and it's up to Ripley to find a trauma kit and treat her wounds. But, unbeknownst to her, what she's already experienced is only the beginning of a night, because her falling completely lost to the core. Mission 5, the quarantine, is when the game truly begins, and it's one of the best missions in the entire story. Upon arriving at medical, Ripley meets a man named Scott Coleman, who is also in the medical supplies.
That's how?
Yeah. I can do it from here. Only you. Big chance to have this answer. Only something to give back.
This entire section is filled with immediate attention. It's strangely silent, apart from the guidance of Coleman's voice. White noise echoes through the halls. It's essentially the calm of the story. The original alien thrives off its use of diegetic sound to create a claustrophobic and oppressive atmosphere. And this is something Creative Assembly really took note of. Not only is Alien Isolation one of the scariest games of play, it's also one of the most chilling to listen to. Sometimes the scariest moments are the quietest ones, the ones where all you can hear is Ripley's shaky breath and trembling voice. There's no comfort in any one or anything. It's a constant dread that never goes away. That silence is shattered by the sound of the quarantine. Something has got to play.
One of the city's closed. The bucket.
One of the I'm just looking to find out what that is. You focus on finding exercise.
The alarm continues to ring as the red light fills each corridor. It's a warning of what's to come. The creature has finally been let loose, and all it wants to do is fight. The xenomorph itself is one of the most iconic monsters in cinematic history. Its terrifying and masterful design was the brainchild of H.R. Giger, a prolific sculptor and artist known for his surreal and biomechanical style, which blended both organic matter with industrial machinery. All of his creations are beautiful in the most horrific way possible. The design of the xenomorph is mapped. This move is known as the attack type, capable of penetrating through its human skull Along with its deadly mouth, it has a razor-sharp tail that increases its attack range and versatility. The xenomorph is also capable of impaling picking up its victim, bringing them in close to finish them off. The creature is quite literally a living weapon born from death. The alien has a multi-stage life cycle, which begins with an egg and a face hugger. Once the egg opens up, the face huggers will latch on to a nearby life form and can then begin the host's chest cavity. This then morphs into an infant xenomorph known as the chest burster. It gets that name because, well, it bursts out of the chest. The infant then rapidly evolves into an adult, Now that the Xenomorph is free from the shackles of the script, the gameplay becomes significantly more intense. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't completely petrified when I first saw it slither out of the vent. The revolver has finally fired. Everything you've been dreading has come true. The Xenomorph stalks us into every room and rapid at every corner. It crawls into vents and pinpoints our exact location. There's no use in running, because the Xenomorph is always faster, deadlier, and more vicious. All it takes is one wrong move or one loud footstep. There. This forces us to adapt and fly to any given scenario and use all the tools at our disposal to get the hell away from us. Items like the flare and the noise chamber are perfect for getting the Xenomorph into the room, whereas the mollusk is the weapon. The finder causes it to run away with its tail between its legs. But these tools don't last forever, and the only way to truly survive is to keep moving, no matter what. The longer you hide, the more likely the alien will find you. The Xenomorph is incredibly intelligent, and that's due to its AI. The AI in this game has been praised time and time again for how groundbreaking and innovative it is. In fact, it's so good to the point where it genuinely feels like we are being hunted, and it
Wendy's new frosty strips are freshly dipped and flipped. And flipped. Here's the Canadian holiday season ticket. Your world just got flipped.
So these are all AI movies, strictly for entertainment purposes. If you think I'm playing a video game to push political views of my own, then I really need to reevaluate my life. A viewer discretion is advised. Thank you for watching and
Election day is coming up. You boys excited?
can't wait to take back the throne. How about you, Joe? You think you're gonna win? I'm not running anymore. Oh, you're not running anymore. That's right. You do this for you guys ready to play some baseball? Not my first choice, but it's been a bit since we played some MLB The Show. Well, we are playing MLB The Show. So, what are we playing then? Oh my God. Are we Barry? So he's not playing this game with him, Barry.
What are you guys talking about? What game is it?
I'm the player. I'll make sure the bill is on his. I'm not playing this game with him. You're gonna do what you're supposed to do, Cole. You hear me? Fuck you, Bill. I cannot make. Okay, that's strike one, Joe. For what? You're supposed to be moaning while playing this game. Barry, I don't know what the hell you were thinking when picking this game. I'm sorry, no, I want to know, Barry. I want to know what your thought process is for. Like, what exactly went through your head?
What are the teams?
I don't know what your issue is, but I am more than capable of playing this. Goddamn pervert! No, I'm not. Okay, you guys, stop.
Yeah, stop it. Right this second.
Shut up. Anyway, Phil and I will keep together, and Donald and Ben will be the others. You okay with that? The 3-1 thing? Yeah, you wish I was a day. Donald is not. Take a seat. Take a seat myself. Hey, I have no idea what the difference is with a regular flip spot. It's mostly relevant.
What's T-ball?
No. How is Joe doing to hit the ball? When you're throwing it, shouldn't be a problem. I'll be like Sandy Koufax up there. More like Sandy Cheeks. What park or field or whatever you guys want to play?
Steel Stadium.
I second Steel Stadium. Our everything's like actual ball field. This one looks like the closest thing to one. All right, so let's play there.
Two of us want Steel Stadium.
Sorry, Donald. Sounds like you're beat. Again.
What do you want our team to be, Donald?
No, Red Rocket. Watch it. No, that will be the Wombat. What's a Wombat? His mom.
Said you pick first, so who exactly is that?
Looks like us, then. I'll make this pick and then you got next. We'll take turns. Donald initiating the idea of taking turns? Wow. I need to process this. No, Donald, no, don't pick Pablo. Don't pick Pablo. Don't pick Pablo. Damn it. No. No, enough. Who in the world is Pablo?
He's the literal goat of this game. Best player you could get.
Well, we got a bet, so suck on that.
Oh, I gotta go, Dimitri.
I thought the intellect of a college student, you know, and I brought my Bible.
Literally banned as a child. Okay. Kid sounds like a loser.
Oh, pick Dante.
He sucks. You got weed, that's it.
So hit it on the ground with him.
Whatever. I don't know why I just let you influence my pitch.
Oh, crap. Dylan better take the envelope.
Oh, no, that would scare the hell out of me if I actually gave a rat's ass about any of these kids. Ben, do not pick that kid. Yeah, Ben, don't pick kids. Unbelievable.
Donald, Penny is one of the best pitchers in the game.
You know, I find that rather hard to believe. Why, Donald, why is that hard to believe? Well, yeah, do us all a favor. Keep your thoughts to yourself, asshole. What a carpet rat. Absolutely not. Obviously, you're not getting disciplined enough. Where are your parents? You got pizza, baby. Who the hell is that? Hey, the kid. That's a 35-year-old woman.
Oh, how could you say no to that?
Easy, ready? No. Then you're destroying this team.
You just wait and see just how unstoppable of a force these kids will be.
So I guess, Joe, I'm trying to look at you. See, Ben, that is a ball player right there. Baseball cap, baseball shirt. He can hit and field. That's our shortstop right there. Going to change. Solid bat by the look.
Oh, wait, how did I not see Stephanie Morgan up there?
Looks like that Pacific girl might have some competition. She's got a whole uniform. Last pick down, center mix. Oh my God. All right. Get the fuck up. Oh my God, what the hell is she on?
Oh, Picker, that's Kenny's sister.
She hits worse than him, and he's in a wheelchair. He's a good fielder, and she can run. Yeah, run it for the years, whatever.
Shockery, peanut buttery, and okay, you can see that. Look down at the party.
Oh, nice. We got the nerd, and Joe and Barry got the dumbass. How do you know he's dumb? Did you see him? You look at him, tell me with a straight face that that kid can count without using his fingers.
Can't believe you made me name a children's team the Red Rockets.
Well, I can't believe the fans choose you over literally any other guest we've ever had every day in the week. And I can't believe it's not butter. Yep, we're going to get our asses kicked.
First pitch hasn't even been thrown yet.
Let's go, Joe. Throw the ball. What the hell was that? Hey! Now, look who can't swing it back. Well, maybe if someone took the hoses down, we could have made some contact.
Why are you using...
His ass said, why the hell did you pick him?
He's not. You're using power swing for a non-power hitter.
Well, 6'3" the long ball, man. Yeah, exactly. Joe's right. Shocking. See ya. Morning track power. So what was your strategy when creating the lineup for this squad, Ben? Getting the easy outs out of the way first? Kitty is not an easy out, Donald. Whatever's on the tip of your tongue, keep it there. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, Barry. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. My golly, have you made contact yet? Yeah, Joe, I almost took your ass yard, remember?
Oh, he's starting to tweak. You really got him mad now.
You think he's mad now? Just wait until November 5th? Oh, you're going to rig another... Oh, my God, he can't even punt!
The GOAT himself.
Guarantee it doesn't leave the infield. So, nice 1, 2, 3 inning, Joe. Thanks. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. Where the hell did that miss? Bro, that painted the corner.
Donald. Relax, dude.
Hey, there you go. Nice of you to give him one, Joe. Would you ask? Hey, Joe, lays one down. Oh, now I got to wheel over it.
Oh, Leanne.
Okay, I'm done.
No, wait. You can get her at second.
CIBC is a founding partner of the Toronto Temple and proud to champion and mission.
The Subaru Uncharted is the EV for city wildlife. Like the gym rat, it wants lots of stamina on one charge. The Wolfpack, looking for fast charging to get back on the road quick. The Night Owls, all of a sudden goes hard to get into spots. And the Early Bird, who loves to get a jump on the day. The all-new.
These are all AI voices that are strictly for entertainment purposes. If you think I'm playing a video game to push some kind of looming left or even right, central, up, down, whatever kind of propaganda, then I'm giving you to reevaluate my life. Viewer discretion is also advised. Not my job to keep an eye on these damn kids. Thank you for watching. And, most of this is right about what
Donald, I'm surprised to you for next week's episode.
if you haven't even started this week.
And we're already talking about
Next week,
okay, never mind. Guess you don't want to hear about the Masters special.
oh, yeah, let me guess. But it's golf with your friends. No, it was going to be PGA Tour 2K25, but that was...
No, that sounds great. I'm sorry.
Is this going to be an 8-person special or just the 4 of us?
Undecided.
Yeah, Joe's absolutely right. It's to be determined. But if we go with 4, it'll be us, 3, and you. But you can still be involved. We'll put your name in the videotape maybe or something.
Oh, wow, great. That would be so thoughtful.
Well, we figured you could take all the help you can get to stay relevant.
Oh, are we not going to pick our own team?
Well, no, you can pick just between these two.
Oh, fudge that. I'm in here. I'll take the Red Sox.
Well, hopefully you're not my teammate, because if so, you're stuck with the Yankees.
Yeah, who is on whose team, Eric?
Well, I believe the only one we haven't done yet this year is Donald and I versus you and the Devils.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I get with it.
So I'm perfectly fine with Donald and I being the Yankees. Red Sox cool with you, Joe and Ben?
I mean,
Absolutely.
guess so.
Where?
I did a hardcore knockout challenge with Pokemon Soul Silver using only grass types. Meaning if any of my plants shoot me, they'll have to be boxed forever. And I only get to catch the first grass type I find for real. Also, this rule will be very easy to remember. If I ever lose a Pokemon battle, I'll have to start the whole game from the beginning. But Amber Boy, I hear you typing in the future. I would expect grass types to be the first stages in Johto, not to mention Ice Skin, the Ultra-Type 4, and the Dragon type, Flying type champions. Actually, when you're stuck with the worst starter of all time. Yes, get on the days of Gen 1 with a grass cutter with the strongest choice in Johto, and again, Chikorita. The sad combination of super disappointing stats and then sort of a smooth pool that combined to make my favorite grass cutter of all time. But now on for this world, just go to know again. Before facing Volcanoes, you can list 2 more unfortunate souls, starting with Spellsprout on Route 31. My name is Bella. A complicated nickname I'm not even going to bother explaining. You will get. And then head to Violet City to Route 33 to grab our third victim of this unforgiving early game. With combat, I head straight into the Viper's involvement. It was normally one of the most pathetic gym leaders to ever grace the Pokemon IP. His lead role on TV is something you might expect of a loose player. The Lord poses us little to no threat with only tackle and sand attack. It mostly just lowers our accuracy. This caused me to swap around for a bit to try and shake the accuracy drops, but in the end, I am at -1 accuracy as ultimate sense in Yoda. This level 52 version of Stab Dust, which is a problem. On top of that, combine its special defense nature, should take over half from a single gust. To add insult to injury, I even miss poison powder before Puff gets destroyed by a second gust. With Puff defeated, I head into Plan B, which is basically just sending in Bud and trying to do the same thing. And this time, without any accuracy drops, I actually managed to land a poison way to defeat this thing because there's no way to outdamage the healing with Tackle. This process ends up taking a really long time, and because Pidgeotto occasionally goes for Gust, I end up wasting all of my syntheses in the process. Eventually, Pidgeotto uses its final Roost PP, pretty much taking it back all the way to full. But unfortunately, because I ran out of synthesis while stalling Pidgeotto out of Roost, I now have no way of getting any health back as Pidgeotto's forced to go for Gust. This sadly spells the end for Bud. Got so close to getting us there. At this point, we only have Bella left, who's already taken a bit of damage from switching around against Pidgey to shake off sand attacks. Despite that, by some miracle, Bella actually does enough damage with Wrath that Pidgeotto goes down to poison, meaning we technically win the fight. But with both of our other teammates fallen, attempt 1 is sadly doomed. In Attack 2, there's not much we can do differently to prepare. This time, Bud is brave-natured, which is actually pretty good since we've shoved a bit more offensive power with Tackle. Most importantly, Puff doesn't have a special defense lower in nature. In fact, Tom boosted special defense. As long as we don't have a special defense lowering one, we shouldn't get too shot by Pidgeotto's Gust. And that should make this fight a lot more manageable. The only thing we'll have to be careful of is making sure we're around full HP when we defeat Pidgey. This does mean I'll have to waste a synthesis just to make sure we can take 2 hits. But even in doing so, his offensive power is so poor that we don't even take out Pidgey with a tackle from below half, meaning we do take a tackle before Pidgey goes down to poison, meaning we're stuck at 27 HP as we face Pidgeotto. In this case, the special defense boosting nature is actually huge, since we only take 12 damage out of our 27 from Dust. This means if Pidgeotto would have gone for another Gust, then instead of just boosting up after a bit of poison damage, we would still survive. We can then go for Synthesis to heal back 18 HP, which in this case gets us almost all the way back to full. From here, we start finding improved strategy. If Attack 1 taught me anything, it's at least transfer this sort of attrition. Pidgeotto both out-heals and out-damages us. So my new strategy is to use Tail Whip on the turns Pidgeotto wastes by just roosting up a bit of poison damage. I do still have to be careful though, since as soon as Pidgeotto starts going for Gust, I have to start healing with Synthesis, and I have a very limited amount of PP. I end up using my 3rd and 4th Synthesis to soak up some damage from Gust and make sure Pidgeotto takes some poison damage. After the Tail Whips, Tackle does much better damage, but unfortunately not quite enough to have poison taken out. With 21 HP remaining, we should still be able to tank a Gust though, and I just end up going for Synthesis to stall out the final turn of poison, meaning I somehow just soloed Falkner with a Hop-Up. After picking up the Miracle Seed to power up our Grass-type boots as we leave Violet City, we've now just entered the danger zone. Bugsy is upon us, and his Psyker is an absolute menace no matter what team you have, but with only Grass types, I'm going to need to be as prepared as I can be. For starters, I delayed Chikorita's evolution 1 level so that we can learn Reflect at level 17. I do this since Bayleaf learns it at 18, which would be past the level cap. Evolving Chikorita is great since it means she'll get one shot by an unboosted U-turn. Bella and Puff should also take a single hit since their typing needs Bug and neutral. However, with her defense drop, we would be able to take Puff out, so Psyker sets up with focused energy, allowing me to connect with Poison Powder, which Puff has no way of getting rid of. Once Puff gets hit by Leer, I am guaranteed to be one shot by U-turn, so I swap out into Bella to take the hit. She doesn't take it very well, but after Bugsy swaps into Metapod, I get a bit of health back from the Citrus Berry. Metapod gives us a bit of a breather, since it's by far Bugsy defeats threatening Pokemon. Kakuna can at least poison us with Poison Sting, but Metapod can only damage us with Tackle, and we're going to use this to our advantage to bait Bugsy into going for an only Super Potion so he doesn't use it against Cyclone. However, I end up getting an unlucky critical hit against Metapod when trying to get it info rank. The actual plan was to set up Reflect the next turn, as Metapod was 1 hit from being taken out.
This way I'd be a lot more tanky against Scyther instead of being overblocked. I end up getting weird as a tackle plus poison against Scyther to use up its Citrus Berry. But the defense drop means I'm now dead for U-turn, so I swap out into Puff as a last resort, who just like Bella takes a ton of damage from U-turn and heals up a bit with Citrus. From here, the plan is basically to do the same thing we did against Metapod, except Kakuna has the unfortunate chance of being able to poison us. If we do end up getting poisoned, we'll have to just cope by using Synthesis to try and have as much health as possible going into the final showdown with Scyther. Oddly, I don't end up getting poisoned at all, even after missing a tackle and wasting a turn using Synthesis. This is strange, since it's always seemed to me the Poison Sting has a 100% chance to poison whenever the enemy uses it. As soon as Scyther comes in, it goes for Focus Energy to boost its critical hit rate, and Tackle plus Poison gets Scyther below half HP. Because of Reflect, U-turn doesn't even do half, and I heal it all the way up with Synthesis to get some more poison damage. But alas, despite the attempt getting so close, Bugsy puts an end to attempt 2 with a critical hit U-turn. Without Reflect, unfortunately, Puff and Bella are just going to get one shot by U-turns. And while this marks the end of attempt 2, it gave me confidence that beating Bugsy was actually possible. In attempt 3, I made sure to optimize as much as I could, getting up as close to level 14 when going into the fight versus Faulkner as possible. Upon defeating Pidgey, this gets up the level and an extra 2 points in HP and 1 special defense, meaning despite not having a special defense boosting nature, we're still able to take 2 hits and safely get Pidgeotto poisoned. From there, I can once again successfully perform my strategy of tail whipping Pidgeotto while it heals up with Roost, and while Puff's damage is still pretty pathetic, with poison, we're able to deal just over half and take Pidgeotto out in 2 hits. After that, I made another new optimization to my routing. In attempt 2, I immediately took on Team Rocket in the well, which walks Ilex Forest behind a rival fight. This time around, I head straight to Ilex Forest, where I can pick up one of 2 encounters, which ends up being Paris. It would have been much better to get Oddish, since the only other location we can get it is in Kanto, but I'm just happy to have a 4th team member. For Bugsy, our strategy is very similar, but it goes for Leer instead of Focus Energy this time, as I get it poisoned. The defense drop means Puff is dead to a U-turn, so I have to swap into Bellow to tank it, who once again gets a bit of HP back from a Citrus Berry after Bugsy sends it Metapod. Before switching to Bud, I get Metapod poisoned, which in hindsight is pretty stupid, since it just immediately gets it healed off with Shed Skin, and I don't take a ton of damage from Metapod anyway. I once again waste Bugsy's Super Potion, and this time I don't get a critical hit, and thus get a chance to set up Reflect before taking Metapod out. I made sure to get Bud as close to level 18 as possible to get us over the edge once we defeat Metapod. Scyther comes back in, and things don't go as smoothly as I'd like them to, since I miss a tackle. Because I just got leered, I've got to swap Bud out into Puff, who gets leered on the switch. With Reflect still up, there's a possibility Puff survives. I decide to pivot into Hero to take the U-turn. Reflect lets Hero stay standing, and Bugsy sends in Kakuna. Now, despite Kakuna also having Shed Skin, it's actually smart to go for Spore here, since even if Kakuna has a better chance of waking up due to Shed Skin, we still could get a few turns where we don't have to take damage from Poison Sting and risk poison. This buys me a couple of turns, meaning I only get hit by 4 Poison Stings, none of which end up poisoning. With Reflect up, Scyther's first U-turn doesn't even do half. We can do enough damage together with Poison to burn its Citrus Berry. Scyther then uses Focus Energy as I heal up with Synthesis. Thankfully, the next U-turn doesn't crit, but now we're in trouble since we just lost Reflect. Based on the damage U-turn did with Reflect up, I decide to stay in. It's a risky choice since the run could have ended the exact same way as last time. But thankfully, Bud holds on and gets a bit of HP back from Citrus Berry. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of Tackle PP from taking on Metapod and Kakuna. Tackle and Poison could have possibly been enough to take Scyther out, but instead, I'm gonna have to pull a Hail Mary. I really don't want to lose Bud to another crit, so instead, Hero's gonna have to live up to his name. It pains me to see him go down to a non-crit, especially when the poison at the end of the turn isn't even enough to take Scyther out. It's all up to Puff from here, just as long as she survives this U-turn. And Puff does it. She manages to hold on, not getting crit, and while I realistically would have continued the challenge with only 2 team members, still having Puff by my side makes Hero smile from the beginning. While beating Bugsy is a huge milestone, we're still far from out of trouble. I did get my encounter in Ilex Forest before facing the rival. at this point, we do have to face him in order to progress in the game at all. Not only does he have a fire and poison flying type, his lead, Ghastly, has both Mean Look and Curse. And the only damaging moves we have access to are normal or grass type. Naturally, I thought I'd hit a brick wall, and that this would be impossible. But that was me underestimating the stupidity of the AI. And it was me way overestimating the physical defense of Ghastly. The thing basically had time to look at me funny once before becoming a hard salad. Zubat couldn't really hurt me, and Quilava insisted on continuously going for Leer, allowing me to get a ton of free damage. I ended up switching eventually, but it started lowering my accuracy with Smokescreen to get it poisoned. I then swapped back to Bud, who didn't even get hit once during the fight. All we have to do now is be careful not to level Bud any further, since she's already at the level cap. In Ilex Forest, Hero once again saves the day as I cut down a tree using his corpse. Also in Ilex Forest, we can pick up Headbutt, which can be conveniently used to find our next encounter, Execute. These eggs are very valuable since it's the only psychic type we can get access to, and thus our best answer to poison types. I then head north to the National Park, where we can pick up another encounter, Sunturn. I then try to enter the Pokemon, which is the only way we can get evolution stones, which unfortunately is not accessible unless you beat Whitney, leaving only one thing to do. Whitney does not have a type matchup with Faulkner or Bugsy had. Instead, she just has her engine of utter destruction, Miltank. But first, we've got to deal with Clefairy, so I made sure to get it poisoned, after which it metronomes it the Lucky Charm. For this battle, I made sure to pick up a few TMs of Protect. Not only does this help us stall out using poison, but it also has special utility versus Miltank. The next turn I deal some damage with Headbutt before Clefairy slaps me a couple of times with Double Slap. I then Protect again to get as much damage as I can with poison, and I'm very glad I did since Metronome pulls Fire Blast. Just like when facing the two previous gym leaders, the plan here is to get Clefairy as slow as possible to push the user's secret motion to not have access to it with Miltank. We're then going to knock out Clefairy, but Whitney has completely different plans. One the compass with Metronome to immediately stop at Miltank. Miltank is very dangerous. We're mostly worried about getting flinched from Stomp, but the fact that it can deal with Miltank should make this fight as annoying as versus the Yoda. Thankfully, after getting stomped and healed from Citrus Berries, we still end up flinching, and I can use my first poison powder to burn Miltank's Lung Berry. That Lung Berry makes the health we got back from Citrus extremely useful, since we can now survive a stomp, and by somehow not flinching and connecting with poison powder, we have Miltank permanently poisoned. From here, we just need to survive long enough for Miltank to go down. So I go for Protect just to get a little bit of extra damage before swapping into Bud as Miltank goes for Rollout. Rollout is extremely dangerous and can tear through teams if you let it get more powerful. Thankfully, if Rollout misses or can't take you for some reason, it resets Rollout's power. This is why I taught everybody Protect to have a way to stop getting rolled all the way back to Bar count. The my starter female on this attack is actually huge, since it means I can't get hit by a track, which would otherwise be extremely annoying. Instead, I just have to worry about not getting flinched by Stomp, but Bud manages to break through twice and takes out Miltank with a second Razor Leaf. We then just have to worry about the baton pass from Barry, but third Razor Leaf gets us our third back. With the Flame Badge in hand, we can finally get access to the Poke-Athlon Dome, where all we have to do is play the fun minigame to get enough points to buy stones. I grind for an hour and a half to pick up 2 Leaf Stones and a Sunstone, and while we can use the stones to fully evolve Sunturn, Execute, and Bellsprout immediately, I end up only evolving into Victory Bell and Sunflora, since they're important to do so, I'll pick up with Execute before the fall. As we reach Appletine, we need Phil, and technically we can really go back to Goldenrod right now to pick up an Eevee. But Game Freak decided to make it literally impossible to evolve into Lugia in this game, so there's no point. Instead, we go straight to the gym to take on Morty. And while this is supposed to be a ghost gym, it might as well be a poison type gym. Morty uses a lot of Hypnosis and Mean Look at first, which is extremely annoying and very tough to plan for. I do have a renewable supply of Lumberries from Violet City, but there's not much I can do about Curse and Mean Look except pray. The lead Ghastly is by far the It does have a looking curse, but I end up putting it to sleep the first turn with sleep powder and then taking it out with a few fine winds. In comes 1 out of 2 Haunters, which immediately misses Hypnosis. This does let me preserve my Lunberry as I put Haunter to sleep. As Haunter wakes up, it misses another Hypnosis as I get to fire off my Solar Beam I've been charging up while Haunter was snoozing. This just barely doesn't take Haunter out, which is kind of good since it once again wastes more Super Potion before he can send in his ace. I then get to see something I've never witnessed in this game. After I charge up a Solar Beam, Haunter actually connects with Hypnosis, which burns my Lunberry. And for some reason, instead of firing off my Solar Beam, this makes me recharge it from the beginning. I certainly didn't expect that to happen, but honestly, it kind of makes sense. Being put to sleep should probably reset your Solar Beam, but it's really... I then go for attack just to get one more turn of AC damage, which dodges a mean look, so I swap out into Pop. I unfortunately get put to sleep on the switch, immediately burning my Lunberry. At this point, there's not much else I can do except go for Protect to get more Leafsea damage, and thank God that Gengar misses its second Hypnosis. On top of that, I managed to put Gengar... Nightmare difficulty in Alien Isolation is terrifying. You'll find basically no supplies when exploring the world. All of the display elements, such as the HUD, map, and motion tracker, are broken or gone entirely. And the alien's behavior has been cranked up to 11, allowing it to adapt to your evasion techniques almost perfectly. This experience is the ultimate test of survival, which explains why this difficulty was added as a post-launch DLC. They were truly meant for people who have already mastered the game. So what would happen if someone who had no experience with Alien Isolation decided to do their first ever playthrough on Nightmare difficulty?
Oh my god, how the fuck did it know I was there?
Well, let me add it back. I have fucking no idea what to do. Today, I'll be taking my first ever steps on Sevastopol Station to unlock the Survivor, which only requires beating the game on its hardest difficulty, not its actual hardest difficulty. So, will it be possible to beat Alien Isolation on Nightmare when I don't know the game? Or will my bolted on left feet take me to the precipice of madness to prove that people can, in fact, hear you scream in space? Fuck me, I'm looking for the wrong thing. Holy shit, that scared me. Exactly. Almost threw my lungs off the goddamn building without it. Before learning the magnitude of my mistake, the game tells me that Nightmare mode is in fact quite hard, and that it's guaranteed to unlock my achievement. This was the perfect way to start things out, since now I know my goal is technically possible. And it also gave me time to learn about the first real mechanic in the game. Use registration points to manually save your progress. They will warn you if enemies are nearby. Oh, you guys call in your save. Brother, this is a collect call from. Let me save, please. I don't want to die. I think we're going to be saving. What close should I get now? Well, I'll make that mistake again. Chapter 1 is when you're supposed to get acclimated to the controls and learn how to use things like the map, which on Nightmare mode doesn't exist. So while most first-time players get to run around Sevastopol like Dora the Explorer with her map, my experience is going to be closer to those psychos that cram themselves into tiny holes in a dark game. With the only concern in level 1 being my lack of direction, I eventually made it to the mission briefing where Samuel Taylor and I are told to suit up and board the derelict station. Things go awry after we collide with some debris during a dark room, but that doesn't stop us from reaching the start of Chapter 2. With my main objective at this point being to find help, I was going to get a small taste of the isolation component of Alien Isolation while I explored this literal dumpster fire of a station. While I wandered around, I was keeping note of the amount of loot I was finding, since one of the main modifiers in Nightmare mode is supposed to be significantly reduced resources. But one of the early boxes made me question just that. Oh my god, there's loot. Scrap and flamethrower fuel. Dude, I thought they said that there wasn't any ammo in this boat. Brother, I don't even have a gun yet and I'm picking up bullets. They've given this shit away for free. In reality, almost every single box on this difficulty is empty. And not knowing much about resource conservation is going to be a big problem later on. On top of this, I had sudden onset dyslexia that was causing me to waste resources that I did have. I don't know, chance. Passcode acquired, I started guessing. Oh no, I didn't use the fucking flare! Okay, well, we've used our first item. Hell yeah, brother. I wish I could say this was the least embarrassing thing that happened here, but due to the removal of the map and all forms of quest markers, I ran around this route for literally 15 minutes before discovering that terminals have options for doing more than just board them. Strong power to department. You need to go to department, I assume. This opens? No. This one's blinking. Okay, let's go back out this way. It feels weird that we have to backtrack. Am I fucking dumb? We're backtracking. Think that's what we're supposed to do. Apparently, I am genuinely dumb right now, and I can't find out how to restore power. That's what we're doing right now. Trying to figure out part of it. Oh, brother. I thought that was just a note saying restore power. Like, hey man, you can restore power. I was ready to do it. I want you to remember that this was the genuine level of knowledge I had while trying to find my way around the station. And once those real danger is added to the game, I will be battling the compass and the alien at the same time. Like I mentioned before, Chapter 2 is supposed to get you used to moving around the environment and introduce the hiding techniques, such as getting into a locker at terminal fully avoidance velocity. That's not the only important thing from Chapter 2. I also acquired my first tool, the maintenance jack, which I can use to jack off the locks on all the doors and reach more rooms that I know nothing about. Not only did this open up the map, it led me to meet my first, friendly human on Sevastopol accident. He's not too fond of door captors though, so I decided to keep that talent to myself so we could team up for a bit. Now here's the thing about Axel. He lives in the walls of the ship, and he does everything in his power to not get seen by the other people. At this point, I don't know if I've aligned myself with the misunderstood good guy, or Sevastopol's most wanted, but I do know that it wasn't a problem I needed to worry about for long.
R.I.P. Axel, brother. Take care, man. I'm really sorry that went so poorly for you, but you were clinically insane. This probably is the best outcome for everyone on board, okay? Tough day for Axel.
With Axel turning into a xenomorph's probiotic, you would probably expect that I would take my time sneaking through this next section, but that isn't correct. I thought that this was
Get a new one? Okay. Still hold on to there. Just hold it like that. That will stop it. It puts some kind of pressure on something and it makes it stop. And block, and then it will be broken. I'm gonna go put the name down in a minute. See? Still doing? Oh, no. Just a little bit there. And then wash your hands. What did you do? Where'd you have last night? I didn't write anything down. Chicken. The grapes. I'm forgetting to ask. So wash your hands really good. If it starts again, okay. The door's open right now. More than I do know.
Supposed to be a speed for the next chapter, and the consequences for that mistake didn't take long to materialize. This feels like the kind of situation where I died, but I feel like it's too early to actually die. Oh shit! Oh my god, I didn't even hit that, it just recorded on its own. Oh shit. Okay, well that's what the alien looks like, I guess. The alien in this game is smart. And I'm not just saying that because it found me trying to run all the way back to the start of this area on my next attempt. The alien AI has two parts to it. The first is what I call the alien Illuminati, because it knows the location of everything, but it itself isn't the alien. This is the system that hints to the aliens to keep it close enough to maintain tension, but also tells it to back off if things are too impressive, which basically doesn't happen on that. The second part of the alien's AI is called the animal. This is where the learning actually happens. While receiving hints on your general location, the alien will unlock behaviors such as pulling you out of lockers and ignoring distractions until you use the same one too often. So on top of being tethered to you like one of those kids on a leash in the superstore, you're never able to fully settle in with the strategy. The alien will dynamically pick behaviors based on what's happening in the world, and then it'll make your life end a little sooner than you were expecting. It feels like the alien is constantly watching you, but with the help from today's sponsor, ExpressVPN, that's a problem I can handle. If you're out of the loop, a VPN is a secure tunnel between your device and the internet. They encrypt 100% of your traffic and hide your real IP address, so your ISP advertisers and the wandering eyes of the alien won't be able to see what you're doing. This may not seem like a huge deal, but if you're like me, you sometimes look up embarrassing things from time to time. And the last thing you want to see is targeted ads for something you don't even want to be associated with. ExpressVPN also helps you on the go. If you find yourself using public Wi-Fi from time to time, then your data could be at risk. With ExpressVPN, your connection is wrapped up using best-in-class encryption, making it nearly impossible for anyone to steal your data. I never use public Wi-Fi unless I'm connected to a VPN. It's just not worth the risk. Now, on a less serious note, ExpressVPN also gives you unrestricted access to online music shows, since you can move your digital location anywhere in the world. For example, I can't watch Friends on Canadian Netflix, but with ExpressVPN, I can be in South Africa and enjoy the show whenever I want. Any of this interests you, find out how you can get up to 4 extra months by clicking the link in the description box below, or for convenience, you can scan the QR code on screen, or go to expressvpn.com/Morgan's Basement. Thanks to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video, but it's time to get back to surviving alien isolation. Alien will be the biggest problem in the game. But it's not the only problem. There are still why is that the solution? They see me here, I'm walking the hallway. I can find it. fucking... Oh, dude! What kind of fucking Hawkeye shit was that?
But if you had in isolation, it might be wrong on my third, and they come with the added benefit of barely missing. A lot of the time, the correct strategy is to just avoid them or fully embrace your inner Sam Fisher and see past them. But my problem is that I'm a prolific stalker, so anytime I need to stealth, I normally smack my forehead against the wall until something not stealth works. It's a problem, but sometimes it's not.
Alright, I'm fucking running this time when I get over there. Alright? No, it doesn't feel safe, I agree. Your boy over here is causing problems. So he's fucking gone. Well, I'm locking. Alright, fuck that guy, I'm running. I'm free. Holy shit. How do I use the med kit?
As a reward for getting past the first real human-based hurdle of the run, the game gifted me with my first weapon, the revolver. But what they didn't tell me when they gave it to me is that this gun isn't really meant for killing, which I demoed the first time I tried to use it.
Hey, bud. Oh my god, there's two. Oh, now there's 0. A beast.
Now, before I made that mistake, I got one of the most useful items in the whole game. The motion tracker.
Doesn't this thing now work on nightmare mode? It's now only red. Well, back the fuck up, buddy.
The motion tracker is basically your lifeline in alien isolation. It acts as a compass with this line on the edge, and it shows enemy proximity to be reliable. But on nightmare mode, it's like someone dropped it in shallow water and then forgot to leave it in rice overnight. It's kind of useless. By the in-zone admission, the tracking has frequent disconnects, and it gives unreliable information regarding enemy location. The one thing that it does that isn't broken is point me in the general direction of my objective, which is what this square on the side is. But then it kills me because it lied about where the enemies were.
Can they catch me if I walk? Don't run? Fuck you, brother! Oh my god, there's two. Oh shit! I don't know where that guy came from, but he got me.
At this point, I've made it through almost 4 chapters of the game, and my understanding of the mechanics is slowly getting better now that I've had the displeasure of getting ambushed by the smartest group of androids on Sebastopol many times. Sneaking past androids was a genuine wake-up call that some missions will require stealth, mainly because I just don't know where to go. But even when I eventually find my way to the objective, there's always another trick up the sleeves of these androids. I love these robots.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, brother, what is this? No, I can see. Oh my god. Hey, it's me. I just wanted to let you know that I do stream these runs here on YouTube and on Twitch on Mondays and Thursdays. So if you want to be present for things like Left 4 Dead 2 Expert Realism, which we just finished by the way, you should probably stop in. And if you subscribe, you'll be the first to know when we're doing a live cool things. Now let me send you back to the guy who doesn't know how to play Alien Isolation. When I eventually made it past the very aggressive working Joes, I arrived at chapter 5. Quarantine, which is when the reality of what we do makes sense. The main goal here is to find medical supplies for Taylor until Samuel stays in Chester. To do this, I have to go to the hospital to help Dr. Pullman get access to the service elevator that we have. Getting the access to this elevator, the aliens oppression officially. Oh, we're so fucked. I can't tell if he's looking at me, he doesn't have eyes. But he's got built-in eye healing. I'm about to get styled on by a flea. If I was confident, I would go in there and try to use like an alarm. I don't think you can see me. You can't see me, right? Yeah, you can see me. Fuck. Getting through this first room requires accessing a terminal to get the code for a door. And then by some form of divine intervention, I need the perfect timing to enter it without getting grabbed by the alien. My first successful attempt at getting through the main door involved using one of the side rooms as a staging method, since it had a rewire point that let me start an alarm a few rooms away. This gave me the perfect amount of time to sneak through that main door, but once I got the information that would lead me to the key card, everything just went downhill.
for aliens from the test. Oops, 826 and 29 still at the no shot. Okay, I said there's no way, bro. There's no way. I've never hit in the locker. They said you can't outrun it. God, I didn't know. I am going for the save. May not be the smartest decision, but I'm doing it. I see it. Wait, it's in that room. Fuck it. Go this way. Oh, shit. Go, go, go. Oh, we're dead. Brother, that is so ass. Considering I was going to need to repeatedly get that access code for the first door, I was determined to save, so I could eliminate a bunch of replaying where I knew I would inevitably shoot a bad hiding spot and get inside the end. Thankfully, I found the time to save after an exceptionally long and wait, which made the fact that I died due to not needing a flare a little more powerful. It might not seem like that save was necessary, since I found the key card I was looking for within 2 attempts. But after one of the most soul-puckering moments I've ever experienced in a video game, I was happy to have it. This is pretty. Don't stop now, man. He's playing the next fucking notes. This goddamn cheater. You hear me tap dancing down the hallway. Check the tables. Oh, the fucking way! Hopefully there was not a save except for fucking garbage. Oh my god, there wasn't. This chapter was definitely eye-opening. And it taught me that the aliens seem to have a massive weakness when it comes to smell. Since I know for a fact I was emitting tears fear gas when there was nothing but a small tear between me and the alien. All of that said, I took the key card back to the doctor at the start of this area just in time to see him get disappeared by the alien version of Delta. This guy's fucking dead. Is it gonna come out of his bed and just shit on him? Oh, surprisingly no. The alien is omnipresent and there isn't a lot of what I like to call valid hiding spots. You see, there are 2 kinds of places to hide. Valid hiding spots are the ones that offer quick entry and exit, while also giving good visibility on the enemy. These spots are things like ducking behind a desk or hiding behind a table. If a hiding spot isn't valid, we refer to it as an AFP, which stands for Alien Delivery. But colloquially, we refer to this as an fuck. On chapter 6, the most common form of an AFP is a lock. Hold breath. Hold your breath. Back up, bitch. Shoot. I tried. I was holding breath. I was holding. It didn't work. I'm going to be honest with you. I never survived my time in a locker during this whole playthrough with the alien team snipping. And to be honest, I can't even tell you why. I still don't understand how it works, because I always hit the buttons when it told me. I got to the moment where trying to fight the alien like a space gladiator was the preferable option to hiding in a locker. So you think a cattle prod in the ass is enough to get this guy moving? Oh shit, that was like I stepped on his fucking tail. If you like that, don't do that again. We've learned that is for sure not a good thing to do. Huh? By the time I finally made it out of water hell, I expected there would be a moment to breathe after grabbing the trauma kit. But instead, I now needed to deal with an angry alien and roaming groups of very well-armed humans. Fortunately, I also learned that the alien doesn't discriminate into its kills. Of course, the other thing is like, don't see me, bro. I know you can, but don't. Oh, look at this guy ring. Oh, thank God. Oh, shit, I just added the deck. Hold on. That was a mistake. Oh my God, how the fuck did it know I was there? Well, I have fucking no idea what to do. I may have said I don't know what to do, but I think the fact that I was using Black Ops zombie training strategies on a Joe in the environment of the
fully before getting grabbed from a ceiling vent by the alien multiple times sums up my inexperience perfectly.
Okay, where are we going now? Oh, brother, I'm leaving. Going this way. Wait, that's red. This is the wrong way. Am I going out the door that was closed before? I should bastard. Oh, exit through the San Cristobal Medical Reception. And of course, for those who don't know, on Nightmare Mode, you don't have a map. So as long as I've played this game, I've never known a map, so it's fine, I suppose. Oh, you're going so close. Alright, avoid the bench. There's another one. God damn it, man. This whole section was an absolute blender. But after dying a few more times, including at least once in an enemy-less room that I didn't know how to escape, I made it to the end of Chapter 6 feeling like I was finally starting to understand how to survive on this station. This feeling was bolstered by 3 of the easiest chapters in the game. Chapter 7 was a quick trip through Seeks and Synthetics, where I made friends with a robot named Ed, and spent a good amount of time crowd walking around looking for my objective. The only issue was not having the highest tools to explore properly. Wait, let's go into this. I've got a level 2 scanner. I can break into any door except mine. Oh, okay, in that case, let's keep going. Sometimes I overestimate my abilities. Chapter 8 was just as easy as Chapter 7, except this time I met a friendly group of survivors before finally managing to kill an android with a pistol. Also, important to note, I only knew how to load my guns one bullet at a time, which explains why I thought they all sucked. Now, to finish off the easy missions, I ventured into Chapter 9, which was quite literally a walking simulator in the past that gave some information on how this whole alien business really started, which means I didn't die at all, even with the bad decisions that people seem to be making. Guys, this is a mistake. You see fleshy sacks, and your first thought is, what is that? Someone gets fucked up here. This I know. Oh my god. That looks like a cool ass guy. You know what I mean? Those colloquial kids, back over there. Okay, I want to be super honest. At this point, I was feeling very confident that I would beat this game in under 70 deaths. But to be clear, I am not even at a third of what the total deaths are going to be during this playthrough, which is why I want to introduce you to when the game really. The hardest thing is to get started. You have to get it on paper. If I started to deal with computers, higher and higher levels of abstraction. Rapid prototyping allows you to identify what you're doing early on. You'll be able to prototype this. People then end up spending more time.
Mission 10 is when I learned about 2 very important mechanics in early isolation. The first is that some areas of the game are literally full of noxious fumes that will kill you on contact if you don't clear them out first.
Probably should have wanted to check this out first, but I didn't want to risk dying. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, that's what I didn't want to happen.
And the second is that the alien slowly builds up a flame immunity the more you toast it, which means turning the alien into a well-done marshmallow was only effective if I used my resources sparingly.
Fuck you, bitch! Okay, I didn't even know the alien was here. We thought we take that though. Use the flamethrower. You're goddamn right we get 2 achievements. Back off. Cause the alien to retreat by using the flamethrower. Oh my god, double the dope. Brother! Where were you? Unidentified species. The alien's close. If he comes in here, I'm farting with that. You back up, pal? I know, flamethrower! It didn't work. Look, I thought that was going to work, I'm not going to lie to you.
The alien becoming resistant to your only form of defense is the game's way of telling you to slow your roll before you get your breakthrough. Now, the one glass half full interpretation of this is, from my point of view, I'm on Nightmare Mode. I don't get enough flamethrower ammo for this to be a big problem, just an annoyance. At this point, I actually wasn't aware of the alien's ability to overcome its allergy to fire, so it's a miracle I got through the first part of Chapter 10 only getting a few deaths. With the server farm behind me, my next destination was the science lab. But getting there required going back through that looter-filled lobby that I barely escaped earlier in the game. I also don't know who Ricardo is. Now that I have my own guns to defend myself, and the enemies already had like 6 kills against me, I attempted to Call of Duty my way through that room for revenge. But as expected, that was a bad idea. Since guns blazing wasn't a perfect strategy, I took the responsible approach and attempted to make this jack off the first time in the season. But apparently, that was even more egregious than shooting, and the alien let me know about that mistake personally. Excuse me. Oh. Oh, fuck, bro. Go for the other guy who's shooting bullets. There is something really important there that you might miss. This is the current state of my inventory. I have literally 0 items that can be used to distract the aliens or to the humans to leave outside of a single flare. This is the real reason every single encounter has been fire-flooded. The resource scarcity in Nightmare is so severe that you need to come in with an exact plan for every morsel of metal that you come across. Without having that knowledge, I wasted everything I got at exclusively the wrong time, which is why I had to attempt everything with the wrong strategies first. Did the aliens kill all the people? No, what is this nonsense? What do you even do in this situation? Just there. I like this, even though. You know? Bro, why would pulling your flamethrower quickly? There was the test. Okay? Learning to get through these encounters without any real way to distract enemies was a tiresome ordeal. I was basically living through my own version of Edge of Tomorrow. Getting through this single room was just a good bit of trial and error. But with a withdrawal from the interest-free flamethrower account, I was able to slip by without being totally detected. That resulted in me making it to the elevator. The goal at this point in the game is to find a way to trap the alien. At least then, you would be free from being hunted and just focus on answering the burning questions that every gamer has. So that kind of that. This next area puts me back on a collision course with the alien. Here, I need to use this new torch tool to get through a few doors and eventually make my way to the reactor that needs to be turned off. 2 important things happen here. The first is that I learned the effectiveness of the Molotov by wasting it on the alien when I really didn't need to. And the second thing that happens here is I seemingly stopwatch my duties by assigning the one robot who doesn't understand reactor startup procedures to start up the reactor. Trying to fire him from the shop was even more deadly than trying to do literally anything else. A perfect example of something that is less dangerous than firing a shell is what happened to me after I finally started the reactor myself. Oh. Okay, not bad. Fucking whip a flare out. Stunned, because who the hell would do that on nightmare mode? But call it a day. The last part of Chapter 10 was the longest sequence. It basically boils down to restoring power to the science lab. This took me about an hour to do, but it wasn't because there was anything super difficult. There was just a whole lot of sneaking around. And for the few times that I did die, I would have to repeat the same kind of process. When I eventually turned everything on and made it to the airlock that acted in my own personal safe space, I had finally completed Chapter 10 after excruciating 2.5 hours. Now that the alien is currently aboard the science lab that's being sent into the neighboring gas giant, I completed my mandatory Mission 11 Spaceball, hoping the worst was behind me. Of course, in a game named Alien Isolation, I didn't put much stock into the alien was dead by Chapter 11. But with my newly fired shotgun, I was ready to take on any Xeno-like creature that showed up. I will shotgun the fuck out of this show, okay? Honestly, thought that would kill him. Oh my god, I got an achievement. Why is the fucking door closing? I missed. Holy shit, that's so ass. You want the smoke, brother? Fuck you. Oh my god. Built like an assassin. Remember when I said we had a shotgun with ammo? No longer is that true. There is something that needs to be said about these extra missions that I think only anime watchers can appreciate. This is the Alien Isolation filler arc known as Android Apocalypse. Outside of the obvious threats, there is no aliens for the next 3.5 days. I will exclusively be doing this attack that I can't crack a single distraction in, while avoiding seemingly endless fleets of androids that want to bring me down. And I'll be dealing with the occasional Second Amendment issue. Oh! You said quiet on the same team! What the fuck was that? Who was on my team here? The aliens, the robots, the people? I'm getting fucking scammed! Fuck you. God damn it, there's another one! These people are insane! I don't know if I can kill this guy, my aim's not good enough. Oh my god, that was so fast. I was trying to input, my sensitivity is too slow. Does this guy ever have to reload? No, he doesn't, but I'll tell you what I do. Okay, here's this dude coughing. These are two regular dudes. They have guns. I pull the trigger and I kill them. Alright, I'm gonna shotgun this fucking guy. Fuck you, buddy. Better have a goddamn bullet in that gun. God damn it. That's progress, though. The bulk of Chapter 11 was spent wandering around aimlessly and seeing the ultimate price for wasting ammo with that. The fact that I was wasting all my resources meant I needed to pick and choose my battles. This often meant sprinting around synthetic Joes and hoping they got a sudden case of depression. That was just enough to get me through the rest of Chapter 11. Mission 12 is another android extravaganza, but unlike Chapter 11, it was one of the easiest missions in the game, since there's still no alien, and I wasn't on the receiving end of the 44 mag. My certification as a black belt in Roboxing was given to me by the best synth slayer Sevastopol had ever seen, Sanders. So I was extra confident that no form of inorganic reasons could be done with me. Now I must have been thinking out loud when I said that, because I seemingly summoned an abnormally large group of Josephs that intended to show me what compliance means. Unfortunately for them, I invented spontaneous combustion and handled all. Oh, dude, how are they not dying? Oh, everyone's so fucked. I thought the fire would kill them, to be honest. Can I please? Oh, I missed, no. Okay. Pride. My conquest of the Joes actually gave me a ton of useful resources. Hopefully I don't waste them, but in the meantime, I breezed through the rest of the level until I got to the Squid Game version of Samuel Says. Okay, right here. This is a wall socket. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Alright. Open the floor panel. Don't look that way. Alright, can I just rip this then? That might have been wrong. Oh, I thought that was the floor panel of the other one. My grade 3 auditory comprehension level may be on full display here, but I had a massive chapter 50 reading level. So I took my wins and forgot my losses before heading to the end of the mini. Now, as we all know, the good times don't last forever. But they're definitely going to continue for one more mission. This chapter can be done in like 10 minutes if you know what you're doing. Now, since I don't know what I'm doing, this level is just a whole lot of running down hallways. And outside of the singular workplace accident that got caused by this mines, literally nothing of note happened while I made my way to Chapter 14. But this is when things started to get back to being problematic. At the start of this mission, there was a bunch of cameras that I needed to dodge. In addition to return to the forward stealth, I was captured by an android and sent to Valhalla with one mini ship. Oh my god. Now, to be fair, I may have strayed from the stealth path in a bout of frustration, but this game has so much crouch blocking and going from A to B, and every once in a while, I just want to use my all into some damage. There are a lot of different reasons to try to run combat against the Joe, but the most dangerous one of all of them is that you found a new weapon that you don't know how to use. What the fuck is this? Oh my god, is this a cannon? The bolt gun. I want to use this thing, right? Please tell me you die on it, bro. Oh, dude, the charge! Oh, you know, they really should include an instruction manual. Oh, also about to meet the final evolution of androids. Let me introduce you to the Raincoat Joes. Is this guy coming for me? Alright. Wait, why did he die? I've been betrayed. Spotting a Raincoat Joe in the wild seems tricky at first, but the key is to just look really hard for the raincoat. Oh, there he is. These android variants are unbelievably strong, and with the only difference being the clothes, I assume that must make them bulletproof. And maybe idiot. Hey fellas, catch! Fuck, I don't know, I can't kill myself, but I decided not to. God damn it. Hey pal? Whoa! Am I fighting a fucking T-10,000? What is going on? Oh, so fucked. I think I might have used the bolt. That might have been why they did it. You know what I'm thinking? Bro, this thing, I'm like Anton Chigurh, okay? From fucking No Country for Old Men. I'm showing up and I'm fucking get out. Alright, let me do my best impression here. Call it. Yeah, if you're gonna gurgle on these nuts, baby. Now that I knew how to use the bolt gun, I started collecting Raincoat Joes like they were Pokemon for a Pokedex. But little did I know, this is where the good times ended, because it was now time to reintroduce you. Oh, no. That's what I said. Well, at least I get a flamethrower. Plastic. Bro, you're getting 525 flamethrower ammo? We all know what's gonna happen here, okay? This is the high. The goal here is to blow this place sky high, but with multiple aliens hunting you and the introduction of the face hunter, a lot quicker than you might think, that isn't going to be enough. In order to destroy this place, I need to overload 2 different reactors, which normally isn't a problem I imagine, but on Nightmare mode, it is literally raining aliens. So any random movement could mean death. With no familiarity at this level, I was taking it slow. And every time I fought for initiative progress, I was saved to reduce the amount I had to replay when I inevitably died. But this had its own potential problem. Safe, fine. Safe. No one needs to know. Oh, I think I'm dead. Wait a minute. If I saved here, I stopped one. Maybe. Scam, brother. Nice try, pal. We're in. Disengage the locking mechanism. Fuck out. No power. Brother, why do I gotta turn on a switch to turn on a switch to turn on a switch to disengage a switch? What is going on here? Despite being confused, I managed to get the power turned on without causing another death. And when that was done, I just needed to overload the second reactor before trying to find my way out of the hive. To make it sound like I should be running. That feels like a mistake, though. I also don't know which way to go. Oh, okay, well, maybe that was door for Steve. Which guy? Uh-oh. I think I'm out of flamethrower ammo. I am. Okay, Molotov it is. Hopefully we don't find another face hunter. Oh, oh my god, that sounded like a whip. Little Indy Jones action here? Alright, fuck him. Here I go. Which way am I going now? I lied. I don't actually know. Oh, I thought I had a flamethrower now. Alright, Molly. Why do I have a revolver? Okay, we're just gonna slowly... Hey, pal. Out of here. Huh? Oh! Hallelujah! Take me home! With the ceremonial purging of the net not being 100% effective, there was now multiple aliens aboard the station, which was going to make my job as chief survivalist even harder. Brother, do I need to go find an upgrade somewhere? Oh, please tell me it's this. I'm in it. I'm a hacker. He knows, brother. I was coming for that cryptocurrency. Buddy thought he was in... Oh, you are such a bitch! That being said, there was basically no pain points in Chapter 15, and unless you count that part where I stood still and basically failed a QTE event with Taylor. My bad. That was a her thing. Or that was a me thing. This good luck extended throughout most of Chapter 16 too. The first of 2 hurdles here was trying to figure out how to contact the forums so I could ask for an immediate feedback. I'm not gonna lie, it took me about 35 minutes to figure out that I needed to engage the bit of totally not stalking to get the hell out of here. Now, while trying to figure out how to do that, I ran into the second hurdle, the stairway to heaven. They call it that because the end of the stairwell takes you straight to heaven.
Okay. Fuck it. If I got a gun out, I got a gun out here. Oh no! Dimitri, where'd you come from? Okay, we just need to be quiet next time.
Taking back the enemy center dressed up as riot guards wasn't exactly a simple task when you factor in the alien that's on your ass like a regrettable tattoo. Fortunately, once I broke the stairwell stalemate, I was able to mosey on over to the exit and finish up chapter 16. And now it's time for the main course. Since Mission 17 is the hardest level in the entire game, and it's not even close. This level is a constant chase with the alien, which you might not think is the case, since the first room had you face off with Tank Abbott in a bulletproof vest. Within 2 minutes of entering the room for the first time, I put a slug in the local TV, and the alien was out of the vent and on top of me in under 20 seconds. I could tell immediately that this room was some sort of messed up puzzle. To give myself a bit of room to figure things out, I tossed a flare in the corner so Paul's Blart would go blind staring at me. When he finished up and started stumbling around the room looking for Visine, I took the opportunity to burn a hole through the maintenance door to grab a keypad code. I was able to use this to enter a door on the side of the room and restart the power. While I was doing that, the guard was getting eaten by the alien in the main hall. To avoid the same fate, I used a noise maker to lure the alien into a corner so I could sneak by and enter the primary office unscathed.
It's like a 6-hour movie, I heard. Oh, I didn't even see it, bro! Talk about getting mucked right at the finish line there. Okay, we need to hammer that thing, okay? I saw the boxes move, and I was like, that's nothing. Yeah, bitch. Wait, what?
So, I learned something very valuable about face hunters here, and it's that you can't hit them with the maintenance jack when you're crouching. I was trying to kill this thing without bullets because of the big alien in the other room, and until I realized what was happening, I got face hugged more than I would like to admit.
Bro, I'm fucking selling. I'm gonna do it one more time, and then I'm gonna shoot this fucking thing. Okay, you can't even kill this thing. That's not even possible. I just like go in for a stomp and then die. Wait, is it because I'm crouched? Wait a minute. Maybe that's it. I'm not putting my full hat into my swing. Yeah, bitch. Okay. First try. Once I managed to get a bit of breathing room, I used some of the crafting resources from this office to make another noise maker, and then I threw it across the room to keep the alien distracted while I took the tram out. Keep in mind that all of this was just the first room of the chapter, and when I got off the tram, there was another alien waiting for my arrival. This is when I started making mistakes that I didn't know were mistakes. You see, I told you earlier that this chapter is a constant chase with the alien. And that's true. I was alive enough. But what that means, more than ever before, is you need to use your resources sparingly. Not every encounter on this chapter requires a large number of distraction items to get past the alien. With some great positioning and perfect line of sighting, you can do this only using a handful of craft utilities. If I had played this game before, I would know what situations had an avoidable alien encounter and which ones required a bit of elbow grease and a whole lot of flamethrower. But since I didn't have that knowledge, I had no idea I was about to walk into a guaranteed alien fight with no way to defend myself. I don't have a flamethrower. Fuck. I don't know how to do this. Maybe he's just gonna come into the room. I don't have this thing. I guess I'm gonna trigger him, and then I'm gonna go over here. Oh. Do I need to race him to a door? I don't know what to do. That door doesn't look open. Fuck it, I'm gonna just try. I gotta try once. I need to know. Oh, you gotta use the lever. Well, you have time. Hey, I don't want to do this. Now that there was a lie. I had no idea. And pulling the lever before the alien got out of its animation was not a viable option. I somehow had to get through this encounter with one EMP mine and either a flashbang or a smoke bomb, since that's literally all I could craft. And I decided to try the smoke bomb first. I don't know if this actually does anything to hide anything, just so we're clear. Okay, I do get it. This is a very interesting predicament. So if I trigger this nowhere to hide in here. This feels a little soft-locked here. A little scared. Wait, I can hide in this. We have never once survived in a locker. Oh, that was an accident. Oh my god! I was convinced that the locker was going to be my saving grace here. But as I mentioned earlier, I never once survived this. So it was out of pure desperation that I gave it a try snapping. And as expected, it didn't work. Hold down and left stick. Brother, the moment I hit it, I died. With the situation feeling unwinnable, I pulled the ripcord on what I hoped was my carry. My previous save contained a single motion, and I thought I could throw it into the hallway to pull the alien out of that room, which didn't really work the first time, but now I have an option. I have an idea. No one's gonna like it, but I have an idea. This was a mistake. I thought he was gonna be a lot faster than that. That's progress. Until I do this and it says I gotta restart the generator. Remember dumb shit that says. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, that scared the shit out of me. Oh. So this was the second problem. Once I got past the alien and pulled the lever, I needed to go all the way back down the hallway to restart the generator. And then I had to come all the way back to this door and get through it. I was lucky enough to save after successfully pulling that lever, but I didn't have a whole lot of confidence since I was down a single EMP mine to complete the rest of this section. Getting into the hallway was a battle in and of itself, but with the help of my EMP mine, I made my way down the hallway and into the generator room where I was forced to hide behind the table until some act of God let me make my move. So I'm ring around the rosy right now for the goddamn alien. I don't even have anything to throw. We literally have 0 resources. We'll give it a second. When he leaves, I'll get out there. I didn't think you could do that! This section took a tremendous amount of patience and an even larger amount of luck due to the inherent trial and error that comes with no resources. But after over an hour, I managed to finally get through the door and escape the area. Get the fucking wall! If you don't count the fact that I was spoiling the screen for my girlfriend with my very fancy revolver, or that I forgot to increment the death counter on that mistake, this section went as well as it could have considering the situation. This meant I was finished with Chapter 17, and it was finally time to tackle the last real mission in the game. Since the goal here is to escape Sevastopol for good, I will admit I was rushing a little more than I should have, and it might have caused some deaths. But when you have movement like I do, there is cause to fly by the seat of your pants. Bit of a dodge there. Almost got me. Bit of a haircut, but I'm alive. Because of my natural inclination to move, I tend to struggle a bit with aiming when the game puts me into cramped spaces like a vent, which is definitely an excuse, but it's the only one you're going to get as to why I died to face huggers 9 times in the vents right before the end of the game. Oh my god, I missed. I died. What? Did it just spit on me and kill me? Man, this mouse and keyboard, I can fucking hate these guys. Oh my god, I deserve to die there. I deserve to die because I'm so shit. Wait, 140. No more death. I'm out of bullets, and I'm dead. Bro. Now, as much as I would love to stay and kill every Xeno on Sevastopol, once I got past that face-hugging army and hit a few buttons to help with docking, my first journey in alien isolation was finally coming to an end. Yeah, I hit the button. Don't kill me. So I survived. I'm serious. Complete the game on the hardest difficulty setting. The real hardest difficulty setting. The DLC difficulty. That's it. I guess. I was fucking dead. What an ending. So, how was Alien Isolation on Nightmare mode for a first time playthrough? It was very long and very slow. I say you should probably play this game on an easier difficulty if you've decided you want to give this one a go for yourself. But overall, I had a good time. If you want to see the full run, you can head over to Morgan's Lounge, since I started posting all the unedited versions of these playthroughs over there. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is some Montreal magic. Saturday night, and we are in the spot. The Montreal Canadiens have defeated the New Jersey Devils in a shootout in what might have been the most exciting game all year. There have been some pretty fun ones for the Habs in 2025-2026, but all the stories, the narratives, and the events of this actual game, especially in overtime. Make no mistake about it, folks, this was a great use of 2.5 hours on a Saturday. The Montreal Canadiens have just defeated the New Jersey Devils 4-3 in a shootout. The Habs had a 3-0 lead. They choked the 3-0 lead away. And I was here cycling through the Canucks and the Utah game, and I had the Canadiens and the Devils game on the other side because I was like, all right, well, both of my teams are playing.
Obviously, my third team, Detroit, ended up getting destroyed earlier today, so I'm not too big a fan of that. But this Montreal game, by the time it was 3-0 Habs, I was like, okay, this is probably it. Like, we're probably not going to see much more excitement out of this one. Habs are just going to wrap it up. They're going to come back to Montreal, and then they're going to play up against the Devils again tomorrow because, yeah, that's the funny way that the schedule is working out for everybody, I guess. But no, you have the Devils that respond with 3 straight. The overtime. Let's skip all the goals in regulation and just talk about the overtime. No goal was scored in OT, of course, which is why the game went to a shootout. But Jakub Tilbesh, oh my goodness, this guy, he is going to cause the collective heart rate of Montreal to beat to unhealthy levels. Our blood pressure is boiling because of this man. Jakub Tilbesh, and the amount of times he went out there, left his crease, and played the puck, only for it to be played in an extremely dangerous way. Okay, look, I'm saying that like he did it every shift. No, he did it like enough times to count on just one hand. But those times were very dire, and we did see some incredible, heart-stopping moments from this hockey game. Entertainment-wise, this was totally a 10 out of 10 experience. Even though you might not necessarily say that the hockey was all too great. Like, Jakub Tilbesh, you can't be going out there and fumbling the puck like that, man. You can't be playing it under Jesper Bratt's feet. Either way, 2 moments in this overtime stood out the most. First, the puck is going into the Canadiens' corner, and it's a foot race. Jesper Bratt's going to get there. But before Bratt touches up in the corner, it's Jakub Tilbesh who comes in and tries to play it away. He ends up reverse body checking the Devils forward. He falls down, and then he pokes the puck behind the goal line to his defenseman that is there trying to recover the play. And then, the other moment, Lane Hudson gets tangled up behind his goal line with the puck and with the opposing Devils forechecker. Jakub Tilbesh notices that, and he comes behind the goal to play the puck himself, too. He tries to dump it down Main Street, but instead it hits the other Devils forward and skins across the goal line before it gets freed up by Hudson once more. My goodness, man. Do yourself a favor and rewatch that overtime because Montreal and New Jersey put on a show. The odd man rushes, the chances, the saves. Jack Hughes had a beautiful 1-T that was stopped up by Jakub Tilbesh. Ivan Demidov had a few beautiful tries because a lot of the Canadian dudes, they were just feeding this guy left, right, and center. And normally, that's not a bad thing. You want to be feeding a guy who is at 49. You want him to get the 50. But I think there were a few moments throughout the course of this game where some of the Canadians forwards passed up even bigger opportunities because they just tried to keep forcing it to Cole Caulfield. Not a bad practice. Obviously, you'd love to see the camaraderie there. But at some point, it's like, hey, maybe you make the better play. You know? Like, there were a few moments where they had space, they had time, they had better passing option, but instead they gave it to Caulfield because they wanted him to get the goal. Great team sport showcase over there, but you kind of want to see some more goals there, man. And for me personally, you know, I got Hudson, Demidov, Slafkovsky, and I also have Jack Hughes in my fantasy team. I've been clamoring about how it's been very stressful this week because it's the finals. And my opponent this week has Nick Suzuki. So, yeah, it's been pretty up and down. My guys got some points, especially in that second period. But the first period is where we actually saw everything start out scoring-wise in this game. Jaden Struble gets his second goal of the year off of a really nice setup by Cole Caulfield. Jack-Eye goes over, down into the corner. Caulfield goes back over to Struble, who then just walks in and rips it up high over the back bar and in. The body language on the ice, they didn't realize that it was in. Only a few select members of the Canadians actually understood that it was a goal. But Jaden Struble with his second of the year gets things going. Second period, this is where Ivan Demidov extends the lead to 2 on a power play goal assisted by Caulfield and Suzuki. Hudson goes over to Suzuki, down to the goal line to Caulfield, who's looking for a pass, Demigod then cuts in on the back door, and it's a beautiful cross-crease play. Great shot, great goal. Demigod makes it 2-0. Give it a minute, and the Montreal Canadiens make it 3-0 off of a very scrambly play, where the puck goes down low. It's centered out for Josh Anderson. It bounces up on him. Jake Allen then falls in the crease trying to stop the puck, but it's all the way back out into the hash marks where Lane Hudson picks it up. He shoots, he scores. It is a wide open net, and Hudson makes it 3-0. So two of my guys getting goals, and I'm very happy about that. But then we saw the Devils come back. Dawson Mercer elevates the puck from a tight angle right by Jakub Gildesh to make it 3-1. And then, 4 minutes after that, on a double minor penalty kill, you have Jack Hughes scoring a shorthanded goal. Hughes goes over to Blount. He goes back in front to Hughes, and it's a goal there to make it 3-2. I'm very happy, honestly. Like, I'm sitting there watching the game just screaming that Jack Hughes got a shorthanded goal because that helps me out very much. Even though, of course, the Canadiens getting that goal against is not particularly great. Then in the third period, we see ourselves Dougie Hamilton and Jack Hughes assisting on Timo Meier's late game time goal. The goaltender is at the bench. Hamilton goes across to Jack Hughes, who drops it back for Timo Meier, who then walks in. He takes a long-range shot and he beats Jakub Gildesh far side. That's all she wrote for regulation. It's 3-3. Montreal Blues a 3-goal lead. And then the overtime happens. It's so crazy. It's so ridiculous. There are so many heart-stopping moments out of this overtime showcase. Jack Hughes and Juraj Slavkovsky. I saw the battle going on over there. The first overall, they trying to get by each other and trying to best out the other. I thought it was pretty great to see. Pretty poetic, too. But inevitably, in the shootout, it is all over happening because the winner. There were a number of shootout goals starting out in this one. Cole Caulfield, really nice little short side chance, and he buries it on Jake Allen. Yes, but Rock goes back and forth and back and forth and back to the forehand to beat Jakub Gildesh. Ivan Demidov takes the same path that Cole Caulfield did and goes far side and he scores. And then Jack Hughes needs to score to keep the shootout alive. He comes in, beautiful move, icing it.
We're talking today about some of the wickedest witches that ever walked here. I'm going to tell you about the witch that lives in the forest in Mexico and the Dutchman, about a Greek witch who lives in a lake and drags children to the bottom, and so much more. These stories also get creepier as we go, so make sure to watch all the way through. And if you're the type of person who looks at the woods and thinks, I bet something evil lives in there, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video of my investigation. It's my favorite certain time as well. It was a sunny spring morning in the rural county of Lancashire, England. 6-year-old Mary Fenwick was at the edge of her family's farm playing with a hoop and stick toy that she borrowed from her brother Jack, without his permission. As she crested a hill, the hoop sped up, rolling out of reach. Mary chased after it, falling further and further behind, until it teetered and fell, landing with an unexpected splash. Mary skidded to a stop. A short distance away, the hoop floated amidst a sea of green. What looked like a grassy field was actually a small blanket blanketed in pondweed. Mary's parents had warned her about ponds like this. The countryside was full of them, and if you weren't paying attention, you could walk right in. But as she eyed the pond, it was her brother Jack's voice that echoed in her mind. You know my mom and dad won't let us play near the water, don't you? It's because she's in there. The witch. She grabs kids who wander too close, drags them to her lair, and eats them. That's why they call her Wicked Jenny. The name alone sent shivers down Mary's spine. But she thought, Jack just told her stories like that to scare her, and she was older now, and braver. She wasn't going to fall for it. still drifting across the pond, further and further from the shore. Mary hurried after it, edging along the bank, and when she was as close as she could get, she leaned out, reaching with her stick. But it was no use. Frustrated, she eyed the group, still just out of reach. She looked at the murky black water covered in pond scum, and a small bubble reached the surface from underneath, and it popped. Taking a big breath, she gathered her courage, knelt down, unbuckled her shoes, set them on the bank, hiked up her skirt, and she waded into the pool. Mud squelched between Mary's toes as she fought through the web of vegetation. Finally, she could reach far enough, and her fingers closed around the hoop. She turned and scampered back out, grinning with relief. Silly Jack, there was no witch in this pond. But as she stepped onto dry land, something slimy and cold curled around her ankle, like the pond scum had come to life. Mary looked back over her shoulder and screamed. A pair of large yellow eyes were poking out of the water, staring at her through stringy hair. It was a woman, with green, rotting skin hanging limp from sallow cheeks. For a moment, the woman was still, her cold hand holding Mary's ankle below the surface. But then, the hag leered at her with dagger-like teeth and dug her nails in further. With a sharp jerk, the witch dragged Mary into the pond. The girl's screams died as she disappeared beneath the water. Within moments, the surface filled, pond weed reforming in her veins, and one single bubble rose to the surface and popped. The only evidence of anything amiss was the pair of shoes resting on the bank, the hoop floating nearby. This is First Art Town, a podcast of horrors, hauntings, and mysteries. I'm your host, Caleb Moore. Wicked Jenny is said to be responsible for countless missing children in England. He pulls them out of sight and into the water when they've wandered away from their parents. He's green and mean, like another wicked witch I know of. With the Wicked coming out, it made me wonder, what are the wickedest witches who ever walked our earth? And the stories I found are chilling. I'm talking creatures in the woods who eat children down to the bone, a witch in Mexico who's supposedly still responsible for the deaths of young men, and a town in America that suffered a missing children epidemic. We're going to get right into it, and as always, listener discretion is advised. Our first witch comes from Slavic folklore, and she's as infamous as she is wicked. She's known as Baba Yaga, a name that's often translated as grandmother witch. Like a lot of classic fairy tale witches, she's an old crone who lives in the woods, casts magic spells, and eats children. But Baba Yaga is anything but typical. She's far more powerful, menacing, and stranger than the witch tales you were raised with. The best way to get to know her is through her most famous folktale. It's a story about grief and fear and perseverance, a story told to remind Russian and Polish children that bad things happen to boys and girls who go into the woods at night. This is the tale of Vasilia the Beautiful. 12-year-old Vasilia stomped down the snow-laden path, breath fogging as she headed deeper into the forest. An icy wind swept through the trees, chilling her to the bone and causing her to hug her doll tighter. It was a terrible night to be out in the woods, but Vasilia's stepmother had sent her on an errand. She was supposed to borrow a candle from their neighbor so she could relight their furnace. The neighbor they called Baba Yaga. When Vasilia's birth mother was still alive, he warned her to stay away from Baba Yaga's house. The villagers said she was an ogre, and if you caught her in a bad mood, she would eat you, bones and all. Vasilia didn't believe in ogres, but she doubted her stepmother would mind if she was eaten by one. The woman had waited until Vasilia's father was out of town, and then sent her on an errand in the middle of a snowstorm. She probably expected Vasilia to freeze to death, but the girl was determined to complete the task. She would get the candle, return home and show her stepmother that she wasn't going anywhere. And if Baba Yaga did turn out to be an ogre, well, Cecilia had a way of dealing with that too. See, the doll she carried was magic. At least her mother had told her that it was. She had given the doll to Basilia on her deathbed, along with the promise that Basilia would never be harmed as long as she kept it with her. The girl swore the doll had other magical powers as well, though. Sometimes she would fall asleep before she finished her chores, only to wake and find that they were done, like the doll had completed them in the night. Basilia held her doll close to her chest and trusted that it would protect her from Baba Yaga. But it wasn't much help against the cold. Just as her lips were turning blue, she glimpsed a light flickering through the trees. Desperate for a bit of warmth, she dashed ahead, until she emerged from the trees and came to an abrupt stop. Standing before her at the center of the clearing was the strangest house Basilia had ever seen. This small log hut towered over the clearing on a pair of slender trees, like it was a giant tree house. And the fence surrounding the house, there was a sound like rushing wind. The trees of the clearing parted, and a woman emerged from the forest. For a moment, Basilia could only stare. Baba Yaga wasn't an ogre, but she was ugly enough to be one. She had an obscenely long, hooked nose, heavy, wrinkled, gray skin, and more age spots and warts than Basilia could count. A few strands of white hair poked from her headscarf, and she smelled of rot. Glancing down, Basilia saw that the witch's leg was decayed, exposing the bone underneath. She approached Basilia. Getting so close, the girl could smell her rotting stench. I thought I smelled rotten flesh, Baba Yaga snarled, licking her black iron teeth. It was too late to turn and run, so Basilia gathered her courage and bowed. She then introduced herself, explaining that it was her stepmother that had sent her to borrow a lit candle so they could reignite their furnace. As Basilia spoke, Baba Yaga's grimace curled into a grin. "I'll give you a light," she said, "if you'll work for it." And then she turned and sped towards the house, beckoning for Basilia to follow. And as Basilia neared the gate, the closest skull lantern pivoted towards her, and the light within it suddenly grew brighter, until Baba Yaga snapped her fingers. "The girl's with me," she said. And the light died, and the gate flew open. So the interior of the house was surprisingly homey and mercifully warm. A black dog sleeping by the stove lifted its head and growled as they entered, but again, Baba Yaga snapped her fingers and it went silent. The witch wasted no time putting Basilia to work. Her first task was preparing dinner: a pot of borscht, a side of beef, 10 jugs of milk, 1 roast pig, 20 chickens, 40 geese, ale, beer, and cider. Baba Yaga sucked it all down, leaving just a crust of bread for Basilia. Not that she had time to enjoy it, because when she finished cleaning up from dinner, Baba Yaga gave her an extensive list of chores. If Basilia could complete them by morning, she could leave with the candle she requested. If not, though, Baba Yaga would eat her. With that said, the old witch flopped down on her massive feather bed and began to snore. For the briefest moment, Basilia looked around, paralyzed by the enormity of her task. And then she moved, attacking the list with gusto. She fed the cat, fed the dog, she tended the garden, and oiled the cake, and at last she reached the final task. Pick through a massive sack of millet by hand, separating the tan seeds from the black seeds. The task alone could take days, she realized, and dawn was just hours away. Baba Yaga had set her up to fail, and now she was going to be eaten. But Basilia refused to give up. She started furiously picking through the seeds, sorting them into 2 neat piles. But she was working for hours. Her movements were growing sluggish, and finally, her eyelids fluttered shut. The next thing Basilia knew, the sunlight was streaming through the window. Baba Yaga was standing over her. "Well, did you finish?" the witch demanded. Basilia opened her mouth to confess that she had not, until she noticed the two piles of millet sitting beside her, one tan and one black. Her mother's doll had come to her rescue during the night and had completed the task. "I have finished," Basilia announced, and she watched as Baba Yaga's expression shifted to disbelief and then fury. "Impossible," she snarled. "Now I'm going to eat you just for making me mad." Baba Yaga demanded that Basilia fire up the stove, and she stormed out of the room. As soon as she was gone, Basilia grabbed the doll and bolted for the front door. The black dog lifted its head as she ran past, but it didn't move from its spot. She had fed it the night before, and so now it knew she was a friend. And since she had oiled the gate the night before as well, it made no noise as she slipped out. As she shut the gate, Basilia snatched one of the flaming skulls from the fence. There was no way she was going home without a light after all she'd been through. But just then, Baba Yaga's howl rose from the hut. Basilia didn't look back. She dashed into the woods and kept running until her own house came into view. Her stepmother and stepsisters looked up as she barreled through the door. "What took you so long? We've been freezing," her stepmother snapped. No concern for Basilia's safety, just anger she didn't get there faster. Before Basilia could respond, the eyes of the skull lantern began to glow again. The jaw fell open and a jet of fire erupted outwards, shooting right at her family. Her stepmother and stepsisters fell to their knees, screaming as the flames consumed them. Basilia backed away, clutching her doll once again to her chest while the lights of the fire danced in its black button eyes. There was nothing she could do to put out the flames. She and her doll watched in horror as her stepfamily was burned to ash. When the fire died down, Basilia buried what was left of the bodies in the backyard along with the skull lantern. A few days later, her father came home and she told him everything. And after that, they moved far, far away. And Basilia never saw Baba Yaga again. And that's just one version of Basilia's story that was passed around Eastern European communities for generations. And I do recommend checking out the full tale. One thing that's interesting to note about this story, though, is while Baba Yaga was said to be a dangerous and bloodthirsty witch, at the end of the day, she sort of did help Basilia. And that's the thing about Baba Yaga. She's wicked, yes, but in a lot of stories, she's surprisingly helpful. Like an evil fairy godmother who intervenes in the most horrifying way possible by barbecuing your stepmom. You can't trust her to not eat you, but if you keep your wits and your end of the bargain, she might just save your life. Because love her or fear her, she knows best. Our next witch comes from Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, and she's different from Baba Yaga in almost every way imaginable. Instead of an ugly crone, she appears as a beautiful woman in a white dress, with long black hair and a siren voice to lure those who cross her path. They call her Eshtabai. She's both a witch and a jungle demon, a spirit of the wilderness that's haunted the Yucatan since the time of the ancient Mayans. And yet, people still fear her today, over 2,000 years later, because it's said that she still lurks in the jungles of Mexico, luring in men and killing them. And in fact, there are recent stories of her doing just that, like this one. This story occurred in the 1990s in the city of Merida. One morning, a frantic woman, we'll call her Sophia, walked into the Compton police station with her trio of young children. She approached the front desk and told the officer she wanted to report a missing person. Her husband, Isidro, hadn't come home the previous evening, and this wasn't like him. His friends often headed to the bar after work, but Isidro never went with them, and he always came straight home. Sophia had already called their neighbors and local hospitals to see if anyone had been brought in, but there was no sign of him anywhere. The police took down information, but didn't offer much help. He probably got drunk and wandered off, they said. No need to worry. So Sophia decided to take matters into her own hands. She contacted family and friends and put together a large search party. Together, they combed the road between Isidro's house and the bus stop where he waited each day, scouring the area for any clues. Maybe he had dropped a wallet, she thought, as she scanned the tall grass near the road. But deep down, she was afraid that she would stumble upon his body. See, in this area, multiple men had gone missing, and usually their bodies were found inside the jungle, torn to pieces. It kind of made sense. The area was home to jaguars, pumas, and ocelots. Even the search party was afraid to go too deep into the overgrown woods. Sophia had already wondered if some animal could have surprised Isidro on the way to work and dragged his body into the trees, but there were no tracks and no blood that indicated that. After 3 days, the search party was called off. Sophia went to sleep that night with the unsettling fear that she might never know what happened to her husband. The next morning, a group of teens were walking the road to the bus stop when they spotted something up ahead. A stooped figure was sitting on a rock beneath a saber tree. It was Isidro, severely dehydrated and malnourished, but alive. Sophia got the call and rushed to the hospital with her family. Isidro was agitated and confused, but showed no signs of injury. When Sophia asked where he had been, he couldn't tell her. The last thing he remembered was walking home along the highway after work. He was just passing the saber tree when he heard a soft voice calling from the jungle, repeating his name. Isidro, Isidro. He turned, eyes sweeping the tree line, and he was alone. Isidro chalked it up to exhaustion and just turned back around. But not 5 feet away, a woman stood beneath the tree. She wore a simple white dress. She had silky black hair that stretched down to her ankles, concealing most of her face. But the sliver he did see was beautiful. Isidro, she repeated in that strange musical voice. You look tired. My home is not far. Come, you can rest and regain your strength. Isidro frowned, as they were still miles from town, and he didn't know of any houses nearby. When he asked the woman where she lived, she just smiled and turned and pointed up to the jungle-covered mountains. In the hospital room, Isidro felt silent, staring into space, like he was reliving the memory. When Sophia demanded to know what he said to this woman, he just shook his head. He couldn't remember. After the woman invited him home, Isidro blacked out and woke up beneath the saber tree 5 days later. So this was hardly a satisfying explanation as far as Sophia was concerned. Her relief at finding him alive was completely gone and replaced by a horrible suspicion. Did he go home with this strange woman from the woods? Was he off having an affair while she organized the whole search party? Was any of his story even true to begin with? Did he really just go on a 5-day bender and leave all of his stuff while he was passed out in a ditch? And Isidro was no help. He stuck to his story, insisting that he'd been sober when he met this woman, but he didn't remember anything else. So Sophia wanted to keep pressing, but he was exhausted, and she let it drop. Once the hospital released him, she brought him once recovered. later, Sophia was recounting this story to some older relatives. She knew that it looked bad. Like, she was a wife who searched all over for her missing husband while he was at his mistress's place. But as she got into Isidro's meeting with the strange woman, the elders raised their eyebrows, almost in a knowing expression. They have heard stories just like this one, ever since they were little. They knew of the woman she was speaking of. And when Sophia pressed them on it, they told her a story that was stranger than anything she'd expected. Over 1,000 years ago, before any Europeans arrived in the Yucatan, Merida was the site of a Mayan city. Two beautiful sisters lived there who could not have been more different from each other. Ishtiban was outgoing, warm, and charitable. She gave generously to the poor and she took care of sick animals. But she also had a reputation in her community for being promiscuous and had a revolving door of boyfriends, or so they described her as having. And these boyfriends were sometimes regarded as lowlifes and drunks. Her neighbors called her a harlot, and they threatened to run her out of town. Meanwhile, her sister, Utsukolo, was the total opposite. She was bold, and she was self-centered, but she was chaste. She never cared about anyone but herself, and yet people in the community kissed the ground she walked on because of her purity. At one point, the kind-hearted Ishtiban stopped showing up in town. And when her neighbors stopped by her house and checked on her, they found a strangely fragrant smell wafting from the windows. Ishtiban's body was inside, being watched over by the animals that she had taken care of at night. It's unclear how she died, but a strange flower had grown to cover her body. The townsfolk were amazed. Despite her questionable behavior, her sweet smell and death proved that she was a holy person, they said. They called it a miracle, and they decided that they had been wrong about her all along. As an apology for mistreating her, they threw her a massive funeral, after which more of the flowers grew from her grave. All of this attention made Utsukolo extremely jealous. She started saying that when she died, her body would smell even better, since it hadn't been tainted by sleeping with countless strange men. Kind of a tactless thing to say about your recently dead sister, but she couldn't have been more wrong. When Utsukolo did die a year later, her body gave off a putrid, rancid odor that covered the whole town. After they buried her, it seeped through the soil and killed any flowers left by her tombstone. In their place, an ugly cactus grew that continued to give off the pungent smell. After that, people changed their tune about Utsukolo pretty quick. Her purity was totally forgotten, and all anyone could talk about was how self-centered she had been. They never guessed that her spirit was listening, seething with fury. The ghost of Utsukolo fled the village in a rage, disappearing into the jungle. She decided that if the villagers preferred her promiscuous sister so much, she would become just like her. In the dark of the jungle, the ghost became known as the horrible demon witch known as the Eshtabai. Ever since, the Eshtabai haunts the area. She preys on men who cross her path, especially drunks and men of Mayan descent. She seduces them with her hypnotic voice and lures them into the jungle. Once she's had her way with them, the Eshtabai delivers a horrific death. She eats their hearts or throws their bodies off the nearest cliff or down a well into the underworld. In some stories, she transforms into a giant snake and swallows them whole. Pretty wild. But that's the story Sophia's relatives told her. They were sure that Isidro had encountered the Eshtabai. And I don't know if Sophia really believes that because the record ends there, but whatever happened, I can imagine the gap in Isidro's story would have been tough to live with. If he did meet an Eshtabai, maybe the fact that he survived means that he stayed faithful to his wife. maybe she let it pass since she wasn't a drunk or didn't have lion blood. Or maybe the witch knew that sending Isidro home would cause even more damage than killing him. That the pain of not knowing would gnaw at Sophia forever. If there's a lesson to the Esteban's legend, it's that the witch didn't learn hers. She chose to emulate her sister's promiscuity rather than her kindness, failing to recognize how jealousy and selfishness caused her to rot from the inside. Her story reminds us that wickedness isn't always ugly, and evil doesn't just come from the wilderness. It's born close to home, inside human hearts. For our last story, let's head over to the United States, a country with no shortage of wicked witches. In towns all over the U.S., people whisper about the spirit of a witch that haunts the nearby woods. While the details of these legends change from place to place, you'll find a familiar refrain. The witch was a talented healer, a woman who provided both medicine to the community. But because she was different, or she was ugly, or she lived outside of the town, people decided that she was evil. They persecuted her and killed her for it. And it was that crime, that ignorance, that turned her into a vengeful spirit. It's like these legends are America's way of grappling with its bloody past. The fact that in the 17th century, many towns murdered innocent women in senseless witch trials. So I actually come from a place like that. My hometown is the site of the first witch hanging on U.S. soil. Alice Young lived right down the road from me, and she was my age when she was hanged in 1647, 45 years before the Salem witch trials. So I've seen how this kind of trauma still lingers. The guilt and fear never go away. They fester. And I think it explains why, in so many American legends, the witch is also a victim. She doesn't start out wicked. She's not evil. She's just misunderstood. Well, this is not one of those stories. It begins in the 1930s in the town of Gadsden, Alabama. Across the country, Americans were suffering from the Great Depression, but Gadsden was booming. Heavy government subsidies, creating a lot of construction jobs, and because of that, people were flooding the area for work. But while it was still growing, Gadsden was still a small town at heart. Travel a few miles south of Broad Street,
This
so today is our first week of MLB The Show 26, and we're going to start with the worst team, of course, the Colorado Rockies. I'm going to be honest, I know some things have changed in the franchise this year, but let's just see what things are going on here with the settings, see if there's any new settings. Female rosters. So I just jumped into the save right away because I wasn't really interested in anything else. I just wanted to see what this female roster was about. You legit get a female on your team in your organization. Is it just one, or do you get like, oh, you get at least 1, 2, potentially? So that's our second. Do other teams do get players as well? Interesting. Do they show up in the draft pool? I did the deep diving. I did see that females will appear in the draft pool as well. All right, let's get into this actual franchise staying now. We're going to about contracts, female rosters are, everything else looks pretty good there. And then now, annual arbitration and renewables. If you said it's an auto, it's doable right now. So now you have to go one by one, entering contract or arbitration. So it's a quality life update. I like it. I'm not going to test it out because I don't want to randomly release somebody that I want to keep. So we'll see. Maybe we try it for the first offseason, see how things go. Realistically, I don't know how many players on this team we get to keep. Spring training, just for now. And then I don't really care about that cutscene. So whatever that is. Sliders. Which one do I usually? Is there not a trade? Oh, trade frequency. I'll leave it on normal for this rebuild, and then we'll adjust it as we go. It was injuries that took on the manual. So just so you guys know, this is the first rebuild team. Injuries are usually all. If I do a realistic rebuild, maybe I'll turn them on. With that being said, if this is the first rebuild for me that you've ever seen, they aren't super realistic. I will make some crazy trades. I will make some crazy signings. But I try to keep it somewhat realistic. I don't try to go overboard with the trades and the signings. So there we go. The goal is to win a World Series within the next 5 seasons. At least one. So with that being said, let's talk about the two things the franchise this year. That big one being trade hub. Market sentiment, it's currently a seller's market. We'll see how that plays out throughout the rest of the franchise as we approach the deadline in future years. And then positional markets, with an abundance of relief pitching and left field pitching more could lead to high prices. There's no more immediate trades, so there are any trades. So if you make a trade, the other team will get back to you in a day or two. They'll reject it, they'll counter offer, or they'll accept it. There's that. There's rumors, which have written or fog of war. Are they real? Are they not? You have your trade block. Players that you want to trade away, you have untouchables where you can't have other teams offer you those deals. Like, so if I want to make an untouchable player on our team, I don't know who that would be. We'll just do Ethan Holiday to start, right? He'll be an untouchable for us for now. Trade target players that I would like to acquire. You know, we can add some guys there, and then positions, which is kind of the same deal there. Back into the trade hub, and if you can leave that, make a trade. You know, it'll get back to you. I don't want to make a trade just yet. The trade block is there, and you can also see some of these players that are untradeable. They'll have a little lock symbol next to them. And if they're on the trade block, you'll see a next to their name. So let's see if we can find one. Santander. Let's go to the Blue Jays real quick, and let's go to there. Santander. You've got a TV next to his name. Trade block. Depth chart. We got the lineup, which is the same. They've changed some things about the lineup now. I guess the AI will be a little bit more, or will be smarter with the way they handle the lineup. So the players performing poorly, they'll drop the player or they'll take them out of the lineup. So drop the player in the lineup order, or they'll take them out of the lineup. They'll also take into consideration secondary positions more often. So, like Brandon could get time at third base or the corner outfield spots, and these guys can do poorly. If you're on the set to manual lineups, you'll have to do that yourself. But if you have AI lineups, they'll do it for you. And of course, obviously, the CPU teams within the franchise will do that for their lineups as well. And then rotation with bullpen games now in franchise. I don't know how much I'll do with that in my rebuilds, but we'll test it out for sure at some point. So a bullpen game basically I was just kind of messing with my rosters. You select it, you have the fifth spot open, and then you select the starting pitcher or select the opener for bullpen game, and then you just pick whoever you want. So I'll just pick Ryan Feltner. It says we'll be there for opener, and then you can change it whatever you want, right? Like if I want to cancel it, I'll just swear, cancel it, and then we'll just throw Ryan Feltner there, and he'll just be my number 5 starter. So I guess that's how it works. Like I said, you can change it as you'd like for whatever bullpen arm that you want. There's definitely other things that I'm missing. It's also like with the morning for me right now, and my brain is so smooth. So if I